A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, a mysterious voice came over the telephone at the Aces saying that Joyce Blaine, the movie actress, had better go right back to Hollywood. Miss Blaine has been hiding out at the Aces seeking a complete rest, and her hiding place was supposed to have been a deep secret. It's about 4:30 the next afternoon at the Aces bungalow. Mr. Ace is entering and is met by a very much excited Jane Ace.
Well, what is it, Jane? What happened?
Well, where have you been? I called you at the office over an hour ago.
Oh, it was only 3/4 of an hour.
Well, that's 75 minutes. That's over an hour.
Well, I haven't time to go into that now. What is it, Jane? What happened? I mean, when you call me at the office in the middle of the day and scream that I have to come right home...
She's gone.
What?
Joyce, she's gone.
Gone? What do you mean, gone?
Gone? What does gone mean? It's a word of one cylinder. I can't make it any plainer than that.
Well, how? I mean, when did she leave?
I don't know.
You don't know? Gone where?
I don't know.
Well, what do you know?
I know she's gone. She's not here. Out of a clean sky, I go into her room to call her, and she's gone. So I hollered, Joyce, Joyce, like that. No answer. So I said to myself, I wonder where she could be. So I hollered, where are you, Joyce? No answer. So I said to myself...
Listen, will you stop talking to yourself? When did this happen?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, was she here this morning?
I don't know. I thought she was.
You thought? What is this? You should know whether she was here this morning.
I thought she was. I thought she was sleeping. You know how late she sleeps. She doesn't get up till way after you and Marge go downtown. Sometimes she didn't get up till 12 o'clock.
Well, then it was about 12 o'clock noon when you discovered that she wasn't in her room.
No, it wasn't. I thought she was still asleep. So I said to myself, I wonder if I ought to wake her up and tell her.
Oh, all right. You said to yourself, did you go in then?
No, I didn't. I thought, oh, well, I'll let her sleep. Then about 1 o'clock, I said to myself, 1 o'clock. But I still didn't think anything was wrong because I read once in a movie magazine that some actors sleep so late they don't even know what oatmeal is. So I thought
Will you please come to the point? When was it that you discovered she was gone? Was it 1 o'clock?
No, it wasn't. I was kind of busy around the house, and you know how times change. The first thing I knew, it changed to 2 o'clock. So
you said to yourself, I know.
No, this time I said it to Laura.
Oh.
Yes, I happened to be in the kitchen. I said, 2 o'clock. And Laura said, that clock's 10 and slow, she said. So I figured it up, and I said, 10 after 2, and she's not up yet. And Laura said, who? And I said...
Oh, isn't that awful? Jane, I leave my office in the middle of the afternoon, and you stand there and drag a story out like that. What time was it that you noticed she was gone?
3:30.
3:30? You didn't go into her room or think that something was wrong until 3:30?
No, I wanted to, but I hated to wake her up.
Oh, I wish you'd wake up. What's going on here? What time did she go out of here? She could have gone out any time at all after we left this morning, but you don't know.
No, I didn't think she wasn't sleeping. And the minute I found out she was gone, I telephoned you at the office.
Well, didn't she leave a note or something?
No, I looked high, wide, and handsome. Nothing. You know what I think it is?
What? Say something.
I think it has something to do with that phone call last night.
No.
Yes, I do. The way that man's voice said, we know Joyce Blaine is hiding in your home. I'll never forget that voice if I live to be as old as Methuselah. I'll bet anything she got scared about that.
Of course she did, Jane. That's the point.
Well, you just said it didn't have anything to do with the phone call.
I said it sarcastically.
Well, it's a fine time to get sarcastic. Here I am worried.
All right. You should have found out earlier in the day that she wasn't in her room. Now we don't know where to start. We don't know when she left. Well, she could have sneaked out during the night, as far as we know.
Oh, she couldn't do that. Marge would have known.
Oh, yes. Marge was with her.
See how mysterious it is? That's the way I've been wondering all day what could have happened. I got so excited I didn't know who to call up first.
What do you mean first? Don't tell me you called somebody else.
Yes, I called Marge. She's coming, too. She ought to be here in a minute.
But nobody else, Jane.
Yes, I called Neil.
Neil?
Yes, because he wanted to write the story for his paper that Joyce was found.
Well, what did Neil say?
Well, I didn't tell him what happened. I just told him to hurry and come out here. I didn't want to tell him over the phone.
Well, for once you used a little common sense.
Well, thanks, Dick. What do you mean for once? If that isn't a
Well,
fine
there's
way
somebody
to...
now. I hope it's Neil. I'll go, Jane.
I hope it's Marge. I wonder if Joyce told her that she was going to leave this way.
Oh, Marge, what are you talking about? Well, Marge, what do you think now?
I know all about it.
You know all about it?
Yes.
Then Joyce did tell you she was leaving.
He told me nothing. I just picked up an evening paper to read on the way home after I got this frantic phone call from Jane.
Paper?
It's all over the front page of Neil's paper.
Neil?
Oh, let me see, Marge.
There it is. Hot off the press, as Neil would put it. You can't miss it.
But how did Neil know about...
It's me.
Joyce Blaine found. Look at that picture of her.
Let me see that, Jane.
Well, wait a minute. Look at me there.
Big as life.
My wrong profile. I knew it. I told Neil to be
How
sure
did
not.
Neil find out about this? Could she...
It's a mystery to me. You know what I think? That phone call last night has something to do with it.
No.
Well, it certainly has, Jane.
Just sarcastic, Marge.
Oh, don't pay any attention to
I'm
her.
sure going to tell Neil a thing about this picture. Look at me. I told him that was my bad profile. Look at me. If I'm not a sight with sore eyes, I told Neil
I
to be
wish
sure.
somebody'd clear up this mystery for me. When did she leave here?
Nobody knows. Jane thought she was in her room asleep all this time.
All afternoon?
I know. I just went over all that with her. She hated to wake her up.
Well, I'm going to call Neil. He'll be able to shed some light
Don't
on
bother about calling him. Jane called him. He's on his way over here now. She called me. She called you. She called
Well,
Neil.
one nice thing about this picture, it doesn't say left to right.
What?
It doesn't say Joyce Blaine is on the right. I only hope some people think that she's me and I'm not.
I hardly think that, Jane. Enough people know Joyce Blaine.
Well, it doesn't say that I'm on the left. They might think that the girl with the platinum hair and the silver fox coat and the page boy Bob is Jane Ace. And the girl with her mouth open is Joyce Blaine.
Oh, always with your mouth open.
Well, I didn't know Neil was going to take the picture. I was busy telling him that was my wrong profile. And the first thing I
You
knew...
shouldn't have let him take the pictures in the first place.
Well, you couldn't stop that. After all, the story was that Jane had picked Joyce up in her car and hidden her here.
Oh, that must be Neil. Now we'll find out what this is all about.
Well, knowing Neil as I do, I'm beginning to wonder if he didn't have something to do with it.
Hello, Ace. Well, my friend, I think you've got some explaining to do. Very happy to. I don't care how happy you are, just so you're quick.
Hello, Marge. You home so early?
Yes, I'm home.
Oh,
so
you're a fine one, Neil.
Hello, Jane. I see you've got the first edition, hot off the press.
Don't you hello, Jane. I see you've got the first edition hot off the press, me.
Why, Jane, is that a way to talk to her?
Look at this picture of me. Didn't I tell
Now,
you?
wait a minute, Jane. Let's get this mystery all straightened out first, and then you
Well,
can...
it's a mystery to me how a person that says he's your friend could do a thing like that to me.
Like what? I thought we treated you handsomely. I don't see...
Handsome, look at that picture, my wrong profile.
Oh, I think it's swell. And did you see that story of yours, telling how you picked up Joyce Blaine and rescued her from the movie fans and brought her here?
What story?
A story with your name on it. Yes, by Jane A.
By Jane A.
Yeah, how's that for a front page spread?
Well, I didn't see this. By Jane A. Let me read this.
Oh, ghostwriter, are you?
Well, I don't think you'll have cause to be ashamed of that. It's in my very best style.
I'll bet.
It is. Wait till you read it.
I wonder when I wrote this.
No, Jane.
Oh, isn't that all?
Well, I can't remember. There's been so many things happening around here. It must have slipped off my mind.
Yes, you must have forgotten, Jane.
Well, listen to what I wrote. It seems like any other morning in the life of any other housewife. Could I but foresee the events that were about to follow. Of course, I had known Joyce Blaine as a movie fan for some time. Loved and adored her as millions of other movie fans have. Isn't that sweet?
That's very beautiful, Jane.
Yes, I'm surprised at myself.
If you're surprised at that, Jane, you're going to get a bigger surprise when you read the following installment.
Beg pardon?
It's a serial story. It's going to run several weeks. You see where it says to be continued down there?
Well, oh, yes, to be continued. Oh, I'll have to write some more, won't I? When do I have to write it, Neil? Tomorrow?
Well, you won't exactly have to write tomorrow, as I've got that.
You have? Well, when...
Oh, well, somebody tell her what it's all about. Let's get this mystery cleared up. I want to know what happened, Neil.
Well, nothing very much. Joyce gave me the story as she promised she would. We scooped the country with it. And am I the white-haired boy around the office these days?
Yes, we know. But let's piece this thing together. What made Joyce decide to come out of hiding, or is that too leading a question?
Not at all. She got frightened when that mysterious voice came over the phone here last night.
Well, how did you know about that? Did she tell you?
Yes, she told me. She told me when she called me this morning and asked me to get accommodations on the first plane back to Hollywood.
Oh, so she's on her way, is she?
Oh, yeah, I spirited her off. Got her out of the way so I could spring my
But who
story.
do you think that mysterious man was who knew that she was hiding here and called up here the other night?
Who do you think?
Who do I think? I don't know.
I thought so. Neil Williams, I ought to...
What?
Yep.
Oh.
I plead guilty. I was getting worried about my scoop. I wanted to get some action. Here I had one of the biggest stories of the day, and I couldn't do anything with it.
So you concocted that neat little scheme.
In my best spooky voice, and it worked, didn't it?
Well, does Joyce know about this? Did you tell her?
No, I didn't say not. I just told her that somebody must have found out, and that if she were found around these parts, she'd be so besieged by movie fans that it'd be worth her life to get out of town. And she fell for it. Had me make the reservation in strictest secrecy, and with a fond farewell, she gave me leave to print the story.
To be continued tomorrow.
What?
I just finished reading my story.
Jane, haven't you been listening to what Neil's been telling us?
No, what did he say?
What did he say?
Well, I was busy reading my story. It's so interesting the way I'm writing it. I can't wait till I write some more so I can read some more.
You get $10 a day for that, Jane.
$10?
What?
That's what I'm authorized to pay her.
Well, Jane, congratulations.
Well, isn't that marvelous? Oh, I can't wait till I get started on my next one. I wonder how it's all going to end. I mean, with that man who called up last night.
That man, I can introduce you to that man.
Oh, no, thanks. He scared me out of my half-wit. I'll never forget that voice. I'm almost afraid to pick up the phone anymore after the way he said.
Jane, why don't you pay attention to what's
Look,
going on?
Jane, we know Joyce Blaine's hiding in your home.
Dear, there he is again. You answer it this time.
Jane, that was I. I was the one who called.
Jane is still a little on edge, isn't she? And she's in for a new career, this time as newspaper writer. We learn more about that when next we meet.
This is Nightline, your open door to people and places, and this is Walter O'Keefe. Nightline invites you to listen in on NBC's award-winning science fiction series X-1. Now escape to a world of the future.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, The Merchant of Venus by A.H. Phelps, Jr. But first, hear this.
When they play it hot and you dig the beat, oh, life is swinging, life's complete.
You make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now on X-1, The Merchant of Venus.
If you've ever tried to make a 6-inch marionette play the piano using spider webs 100 feet long for the strings, you'll have some idea of the job of administering personnel problems of the Venus colony from an office on East 41st Street in New York. But that's the way it's done. All recruitment and contract work for outspace employment is handled by the UN Off-World Commission. My particular mess is the Venus Project. Mostly the trouble comes to my phone extension. Work 'em here.
Work 'em. How long do you think we're going to stand for this?
Oh, General Carlson, how are you?
At the rate you're going, there won't be a man left on Venus or a dollar left in the budget. What kind of a personnel director are you?
Well, if you...
Don't you know this project is vital to every person on Earth?
General Carlson, just what is wrong?
30 more resignations came in from the colony on the last mail flight. 33 spineless quitters getting fat at the taxpayers.
Excuse me, General.
Listen to me, Workham. I'm getting awfully tired of the kind of recruiting you're doing.
Miss Kane, get me Dave Newson on the other line. No, don't cut the General off. He's enjoying himself. He won't miss me.
It's this egghead inefficiency that's at the bottom of the whole thing.
Well, I'm not too sure about that, General.
Believe me, with one platoon of Rangers, I could get a colony and it'd stay up there.
Hello, Rod.
Dave, General Carlson's on the other phone yelling at my desk blotter. He says 30 more resignations came in. That right?
Actually, 23. 7 for sick leave.
Well, what's the breakdown? Mostly farmers or technicians?
Well, there were only 9 technicians left. This batch cleans them out. The rest are farmers.
What's left?
A couple of farmers, trappers, and the scientists. They seem to stick it out all right.
Different contracts. They only have a 2-year hitch and then come back to Earth if they want to. Listen, meet me down at the coffee shop. No, Carlson goes down there sometimes. The saloon over on 43rd, about 10 minutes. The saloon was decorated in old-fashioned foam and plastic furniture. It looked straight out of the antebellum 1950s. I found Dave waiting for me in a booth, and we got right down to it.
Well, listen, why don't we leave this last bunch of quitters right where they are? Refuse to bring them home. Then they'd have to make a go of the colony to save their scrawny necks.
Oh, I'd like to, but even General Carlson wouldn't dare. We'd never get another colonist off Earth. And our main job is to relieve population crowding on Earth. We get tough with the colony, a man would be a fool to go.
But every one of these quitters talks like he was just sprung from Devil's Island.
This isn't getting us anywhere. I want you to shoot me up the files on this last batch of quitters. Maybe we'd better have a staff meeting on it. Get the psychology section, the preliminary interviewers who passed these men, and I'll have Jameson, too.
What do you want a historian for?
Maybe he can find us something interesting in the project record. He's used to deducing the philosophical and religious behavior of the ancient Hittites from a loose translation of a cuneiform laundry bill.
Shall I get them all down here?
No, we'd better make it formal. Book a conference room. When you get Jameson into a saloon, he spends all his time thinking up guessing games to avoid paying for his drinks. No, make sure about General Carlson.
I'll tell his secretary.
No. Make sure he doesn't hear about it. I don't have anything against General Carlson personally. It's just that there's always been a fight over Venus Project. The military versus the rest of us soft, decadent civilians. Carlson felt the right way to settle any virgin territory was to set up a military outpost on the ground that soldiers had always been the best operators under similar circumstances. I had lunch with Dave before the conference.
You want to call the Greasy Spoon and order?
What's on the menu?
Well, Protoss burger, sliced barbecued yeast, or seaweed borscht with boiled algae balls.
Just coffee. Black coffee.
They don't have coffee. What do you think this is, the Chambord? You can have Neocaf or Syntho tea.
And that just about sums up the problem the Earth faces. Scientific agriculture and hydroponics had gone just about as far as they could. Synthesized foods couldn't take up the slack. If the people of Earth kept on emulating the extinct rabbits, as they showed every intention of doing, we had about 30 years before we'd all be standing on each other's shoulders, chewing our fingernails for nourishment. Or rigid birth control would go into effect, with the whole attendant problem of racial tension, nationalistic wars, and bootleg conceptions. The group gathered in the conference room looked sour enough to have been dining on seaweed borscht for a week. All right. I suppose I sum up what we all know already. It'll give us time to stall before we face problems to which we have no answers.
That's a cheerful beginning.
All right. Now, for 6 years, we've been trying to establish a self-sustaining colony on Venus. Why? Take the monorail out to Bucks County or up to Vermont at rush hour. There just isn't any more room on Earth. They've just opened the Dome Colony in Antarctica, the housing areas in the Amazon Valley, and they're already piled up with a 10-year waiting list. All right, we send out colonists. What happens?
They quit.
Thank you, Mr. Jameson. The resignations come in. By terms of the contract, we have to transport them back to Earth inside of a month of resignation. There'll be nothing left on Venus but a few small clearings in the jungle and a few empty beer cans. Now, I'm not accusing anyone here of making mistakes, but I think we have to seriously consider whether we're spending money for nothing.
Rod, you said the problem was insoluble. We know what we need up there. It's just that we're still making some mistake in selection, in psychological screening. That's all. You're not going to quit, are you, Rod?
Well,
we're not. We'll get these studies out and check again. Venus Project is too important to fail, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's a cheap trick, but it always works. I talk with a heavy, heavy heart. Dave jumps in to shill like a Boy Scout. It always amazes me how a bunch of Ph.D. psychologists can get suckered into enthusiasm every time. We tried to figure out what made the settlers quit. We went into their backgrounds, their personality psych profiles. The coffee grew stale and the smoke heavy. Nothing.
Look, Rod, here's what it boils down to. A man has to be unstable to want to leave Earth, but he has to be stable to stay on Venus. You need initiative and resourcefulness to make out on a new planet. But if you had it, you'd make out fine at home. You need young, healthy, vigorous, mature, older, experienced people all rolled into one. We're looking for a collection of walking paradoxes.
You're listening to The Merchant of Venus, tonight's attraction on X-1. For the big things in your life, be ready with United States savings bonds. That's the new savings bond with the higher interest rate. The improved Series E savings bonds that now mature faster to pay you back extra dollars faster. Yes, when you think of saving, think of savings bonds. They offer you the safe, easy way to save regularly. Safe because each bond is backed by the United States government itself. And it's easy because you can buy bonds either where you bank or through the payroll savings plan where you work. And remember, you get back $4 at maturity for every $3 invested. So you earn extra dollars. But the big news is that the maturity period is shortened to only 8 years and 11 months. So join the bond wagon. Start a family savings program. Invest in improved Series E bonds first thing tomorrow. And hold the bonds you already own. Now back to X-1 and The Merchant of Venus.
We tried brainstorming on Project Venus. You know, just sit around and let the ideas seep out of your unconscious.
Take kids up and bring them up on Venus under guard.
Grow colonists in test tubes and ship them out wrapped in glass.
Start trial colonies in the Congo.
Nothing. I was mulling the conference over by myself in the saloon when Jameson dropped into a chair beside me.
Hi, Rod.
Oh, hello.
Hey, I got a new game. I take 3 matches in my right hand and
Don't
you guess...
bother. I'll pay for the drinks.
Rod, you're taking the sport out of sponging.
I see nothing amusing in being a petty con man.
How about that snow job you work on the psych team every couple of weeks? You could get rich selling bogus mining stock to investigators for the SEC.
There is a difference between legitimate personnel psychology.
Sure. How about when you threatened to quit?
Well, I'm not sure I was kidding.
What would happen if you quit?
Carlson would probably send a military outpost up there. Make a clearing, build a fort, maybe a town, and then he'd try to get people to come and live in it. It won't work, though. They'll want to know why the planet had to be colonized that way. Why wouldn't the civilian colonists stay?
Rod, this may surprise you, but I agree with you. But not because of your fancy psych profiles and emotional mathematics. A free people will not willingly move into a military township. Rod, you a gambling man.
I told you, I'll pay for the drinks.
No. I mean, would you take a 50-50 chance that the colony had a chance of working out?
Guess so. It's better odds than I'd give at the moment.
All right. You're on.
Now, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Never mind. Here, look. I take 3 matches in my right hand.
And that's all he said. I found out a week later what was going on when I was called on the carpet by General Carlson.
And as I understand it, this plan of Mr. Jameson's was smothered in your office because of professional jealousy. Mr. Jameson having no degree in psychology.
Is that what he told you?
Mr. Workham, I'm very busy. I have a conference with Mr. Jameson in exactly 7 minutes.
caught him later that afternoon.
Now, take it easy, Rod. That's the only way I could get Old Blood and Sarsaparilla to snap at my bait. If he thought you were sitting on an idea, he was bound to grab it.
You know he dry-docked me for 6 weeks.
Go fishing. Have a good time. When you get back, I'll have my little swindle going full blast.
That is exactly what I did. I went fishing. When I came back to work, I had to fight to get into the building.
Hey, who you pushing?
I work in here.
Yeah, line fucker.
What do you mean?
You're gonna waste your time like the rest of us.
What's going on in there?
What, are you kidding? This is the volunteer office. Where have you been?
Volunteer for what?
The Venus colony.
Oh, no. That's a little office around on 43rd Street.
Wake up, Bud. They moved out of that office last week.
You mean all these men are volunteering?
Sure. Hey, you got a bottle on you?
Bottle?
Anything. A little California seaweed juice, maybe? I ain't fussy.
Are you a trained farmer?
Do I look like a hayseed?
Technician? Mechanic?
Listen, Buster. That's for marks, rubes, hits. I know how to take care of myself. Let the suckers push tractors around. You sure you ain't got a shop?
No.
Man, I can hardly wait till I get there.
The nearest saloon?
Venus, man, Venus.
What are you going to do when you get there?
Well, snake me a little climb. Then let the crabs roll in. Gonna get me a year's supply of the best pre-war scotch, and I'm gonna use it up in a week.
They don't pay that kind of wages at the colony.
Wages? That's for square johns. I'm going out for the hot stuff. You know what I mean?
Radioactives? Well, the government assays don't show enough to make it worth shipping.
That's what they want you to believe. I heard they got loads of big U's so rich, you gotta wear a lead union suit to get near them.
Don't you realize there's nothing but jungle up there, and insects and spores and fungus?
All right. I know the story. That's to keep out suckers. Take it from me, bud. Just look around. The smart money knows the truth. I'm getting in on the ground floor.
Jameson, you irresponsible idiot!
Ah, Rod, how were the fish?
I know what you're doing, and I won't put up with it. You've told those dupes down there they can get rich on Venus.
Well, they're volunteering.
And I suppose you think if you get enough of them, you'll find what you want. But have you looked at them? Crooks, gangsters, bums, hobos, drunks, and I don't know what.
They are a little picturesque, aren't they?
Well, you've got recruits, all right. But what kind of a society are you going to start with them?
Rod, you're not being just a teeny-weeny bit snobbish, are you?
Look, this isn't a joke. I don't care who goes as long as they meet some standards. But to make a decent place, you need decent people, morally clean and healthy.
And to think this is a man I have seen playing stud poker.
You've got a collection of bums and alcoholics and criminals. Probably half of them are wanted by the cops. You've got to stop. There wasn't a thing I could do. I issued a statement to the press, and I got editorials attacking me for trying to keep the riches of Venus from the common man. Days passed, weeks. The training and screening compounds were jammed, and the transports lifted from Cocoa Base on a tight schedule, 100 men to a ship, not counting crew. People traveled miles to apply. They drifted in from every skid row around the world. Then the numbers decreased. Day by day, the get-rich-quick propaganda seemed to be losing its grip. About a year passed, and the lines had dwindled down to about a steady 5 men a day. I went through my routines in a kind of daze, horrified at the tale history would write about the society that was recruited through my office. Then one day I met a man in a lunchroom. He asked me the way to the recruiting office. We got to talking. That afternoon I found Jameson in the saloon and cornered him.
Look, I take 4 lumps of sugar in my left hand, and you try to guess which one...
Never mind.
It's just a little sporting proposition.
I've had enough sporting propositions out of you. Jamie, I just talked to a recruit.
How democratic of you.
I'm not kidding. He was an engineer who tossed up a good job to go out to the colony.
How nice.
I did a little more checking. They changed. There are farmers with their families, school teachers, lawyers, doctors, and then 2 ex-colonists applied yesterday to go back.
Guess which hand holds...
Listen, there is on the bar a pre-war bottle of scotch at $25 an ounce. I will buy you the whole bottle for an explanation.
Oh, well, wait till I put the sugar back in the bowl.
Jamie, how did you do it? Were we so far wrong with our charts and psychomath?
Actually, you told me how to do it. Remember you said if there was a recently pioneered society around for you to test, you could set up your standards? Well, all you needed to do was duplicate the kind of person who settled America, or Australia, or California. As an historian, I knew what they were like, and I knew what brought them. So I put out the same bait.
In a pig's eye, you did. How about freedom of religion, freedom from oppression? That had something to do with settling America, didn't it? Isn't that what brought people to this country? I saw that cesspool full of tramps you started with. If there was a Tom Paine or a Ben Franklin among them, I'll eat a whole Rorschach series one ink blot at a time.
Rod, you are no historian. Franklin was born here. Paine didn't come over in the first wave. Pioneers are not necessarily young, healthy, or moral. America wasn't founded only by pilgrims. They were actually a minority. We were settled by promoters, bonded servants, British convicts, pickpockets, thieves, French and Spanish pirates. They came here for gold or to beat a hangman's rope. That's the kind of person who settles a new land. Misfits, drunkards, fugitives from justice. Too sick in mind or body to make a go of it where they are.
But what kind of society will they make out of it?
What kind did the sweepings of Newgate make out of America? After a while, they stop shooting each other down in the streets, and civilization catches up with them. For one thing, they get married. And it's amazing what a civilizing influence a wife is.
Won't they be a little sore? After all, you just worked the greatest hoax since
the immigrants came to America because they heard the streets were paved with gold. Well, I'll be going along myself soon.
You?
Yep. Now that they've got a colony going up there, they'll be making history. And besides, I understand there's a wide-open gambling saloon at New Abilene on the Neo-Texas Peninsula. I'm anxious to try my luck on the wheel. I wonder if that pre-war bottle of scotch will stand the acceleration.
Fred Collins again, and I'll be back with a word about X-1 in a moment.
This is Bob Haynes speaking to you from somewhere in the Caribbean. I am aboard a UDT personnel landing craft. That's the underwater demolition team. We are right now on our way out to rendezvous with United States submarine Sea Lion.
Monitor took you there.
Some men go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Some people sit on top of flagpoles. But we have a man by the name of Rajah Phillips from India who is buried alive right in the center of a furniture store here in Owensboro, Kentucky.
And Monitor took you there. Big events, little events, offbeat events, comedy, music, news, and sports. They're all part of the top variety of entertainment Monitor brings you all weekend long. This is Frank Blair inviting you to join us on Monitor every weekend and Friday nights, too, on most of these NBC stations.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
This is Walter O'Keefe, inviting you to listen in on the Nightline. Tonight, live the incredible life of ages yet to come, in a time that might be 1,000,000 years from now, on X-1. Now, an incredible story of the world beyond.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, The Haunted Corpse by Frederick Pohl. But first, hear this.
Whenever you want things to be just right, be it here or there or day or night,
You make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now, X-1, and the story of The Haunted Corpse.
We moved in at 0800. That's pretty good time, considering that Van Pelt turned up at the Pentagon on Thursday, and it took until Monday morning to go in and see the general. By Tuesday, I had a task force of 135 men bivouacked around the old man's place. Corporal McCabe, my orderly, reported mission accomplished.
Well, Colonel, there's a whole company dug in down the road right yonder, and Williams is all set up right here like you done ordered. We got a copy of them recon cars from the cavalry roaming like a passel of June bugs quartering a handkerchief.
McCabe isn't very bright, but he's loyal. Well, about 9 in the morning, the old man woke up. I suppose the firing at the auxiliary pistol range I set up got him out of bed.
Get out of here. Go on, you. Get those trucks off my lawn. Get out.
Dr. Horn.
Oh, what is this, the Boy Scout Jamboree? Are you the scoutmaster?
Dr. Horn, I am Lieutenant Colonel Windermere, sir. My orders are to establish a security cordon about your laboratories.
What?
Here you are, sir, my copy of your orders.
What the devil is this nonsense?
You will see they are signed by General Follinsby himself.
I know. That sniveling rat Van Pelt. He went for the army, is that it? That mountainous, ungrateful tub of rancid lard went crawling into Washington and ratted to some tin soldier.
Sir, General Follinsby is not a tin soldier.
Is that it? Did Dick Van Pelt come to you with some cock and bull story? The chicken-livered, worm-eaten, misbegotten offspring
Dr.
of a...
Horn, the General asked me to give you his personal assurance that we will not interfere in your work here. But I'm sure you understand the importance of security.
Now, you listen to me. The Horn effect is my personal property, not the government's or the Army's. What is this, creeping socialism?
Sir, security. My orderly isn't cleared.
Oh, that don't make no never mind, Colonel. I don't rightly grasp what he's saying nohow.
McCabe, report to my tent.
Oh, just when it's getting interesting.
Now, Dr. Horn, I want you to know that I'm here to help you. If there's anything you want, just ask me. If you want to go into town, that can be arranged. Of course, you'd better give us 24-hour notice so we can clear the streets and check out all...
Young man?
Yes, sir.
You may go to the devil.
Of course, he went in to call the Pentagon and protest. He had a lot of spirit for an old civilian of about 75.
Hello? This is Dr. Eric Horn. I want to protest an invasion of my privacy.
Of course, Dr. Horn, I understand.
There's an officious young Cub Scout out at my place making a pet of himself. A lieutenant something.
Lieutenant Colonel Windermere.
But I called Washington.
Yes, sir, but our intercept monitor put the call through to me. We'll take care of any outside calls you wish to make.
Of all the insufferable...
At about 0600 the next morning, I ran a surprise full-scale inspection and simulated infiltration.
Hey, look there! You trigger-happy idiot! It's me, McCabe! And you simulated! You hear?
Fortunately, he was only grazed. The wire stream detail worked all night, and we had surrounded the old Victorian house with triple-strand electrified barbed wire with guard towers every 50 feet. At 1400, I paid a call on Dr. Horn.
What are you doing here?
Good afternoon, Dr. Horn. I came in for your report.
My what?
Your daily progress report. It's in my orders. Paragraph 8. Just carry on, sir. Corporal McCabe will take your words down. Oh, his clearance came through last night. You have a method for electronically killing a man without touching him.
Killing, Lieutenant? Will you tell me what in the sweet name of heaven did I say that gave you that particularly stupid notion? But I understand. You think this is a weapon.
Of course, sir.
Of course. My machine renders humans into corpses. A chipped flint will also do that. Look, you simpleton, don't you realize what my machine can do? It can separate that something which, added to a body, produces a man. That subtracted leaves a corpse. I can separate the two things without destroying them. You understand that I can take the ghost of life out of a body and keep it unharmed. Try to understand that, you pig-headed, mule-eared, rabbit-faced...
You're listening to The Haunted Corpse, tonight's attraction on X-1. You know, the property value of your home depends on the well-being of your community and your neighborhood, on things like good lighting for your streets, accessible parks and playgrounds, and cleaning up slums. And what others are doing, you can do. In Michigan, a city group launched Operation Bootstrap to rehabilitate houses, clean up slums, and interest everyone in better living standards. In Pennsylvania, a local real estate board surveyed every property in town, got 500 improved and 50 hopeless slums torn down. So help clean up slums and keep up your own home as well. To help keep your community sound, get into Action. Action is a national organization designed to help you protect the well-being of your community. For free information on your particular problem, write to Action, Box 20, Radio City Station, New York 20, New York. Now, back to X-1 and The Haunted Corpse.
I terminated the interview and went back to headquarters to prepare my situation analysis. Van Pelt, all 300 pounds of him, was waiting for me. He was eating a can of sea ration with a knife.
He's perfectly sane, Colonel, but he's dangerous. Very dangerous. You've got to protect me, absolutely.
Van Pelt, I want the straight dope on Horn. Now, what is this ghost business?
Oh, that. That's just his way of putting it. You see, care to join me in a can of beans?
No, thank you.
Well, there's a difference between a living man and a dead man, and that difference is what Dr. Horn whimsically calls a ghost. Call it life, plus intelligence, plus soul, if there is such a word in your lexicon, Colonel.
You mean his machine conjures up ghosts?
No, Colonel. Dr. Horn is an impossible old vulture, but he's not a faker. Horn can drain the essence of life from a body and store it, or if he wishes, he can replace them in another body. Would you mind handing me the can opener? This looks interesting. Macaroni and beef. Supper ration.
Well, so he had a machine that could take a mind out of one body and put it in another body. Well, why didn't he say so straightforwardly instead of beating around the bush like a civilian? Of course, he was a civilian, which might explain it. Next morning, I went to the laboratory with Corporal McCabe and insisted on a demonstration.
All right. This way, gentlemen.
Please, Corporal McCabe is an enlisted man.
At this pole, we have a Cocker Spaniel. And over here, a Rhode Island Red.
That's a right perky-looking chicken, Doc.
If you will kindly stay clear of the terminal areas, I will activate the field.
What's happening?
The field is vibrating at the cycloid rate set on the crystals. All right, it's ready for discharge. Now.
Well?
Watch. Here, Rover. Here, boy. Here, boy.
Hey, that ain't no hound. That's the chicken.
I know. Here, Rover.
Well, I'll be tickled for an eel. That little old chicken is trying to wag its tail.
And over here. Here, chick, 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 chicky. Here, chick, 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 chick.
Well, doggone. I never did see the like of that. A flop-eared, honest-to-Pete dog trying to peck corn.
I had a private conference with the old man later. Under Section K of my security regulations, I moved on my own initiative.
Well, Lieutenant?
Lieutenant Colonel, there is a slight difference.
Well?
Now, can you do this with people?
Indeed I can. But the silly laws covering these things, they won't let me. I've tried. Imagine a simple exchange. A man dying of terminal cancer and a feeble-minded youth. Put the sound mind into the sound body and let the decayed parts rot together. But will they let me? No.
You've never tried the machine on people?
No. But you're here, a military man, Very brave. All I need is a volunteer. That coward Van Pelt refused. That's why he sneaked off to you. But a brave soldier like you...
Negative, sir. Negative.
But, Lieutenant...
Negative, sir. And besides, I am not a lieutenant. I'm a field-grade officer. I don't believe you appreciate the investment the service has made in my training. However, if you need volunteers, the Army has a way of obtaining volunteers, sir. We'll see what we can do. Actually, it was easy. First, there was a boy from Maine awaiting court-martial on an AWOL charge. Second, he volunteered when I pointed out he could get up to a year at hard labor. And then McCabe.
Oh, no, Colonel, sir. I ain't a volunteering type.
Well, McCabe, I have been asked to recommend a non-com for infantry assignment in the Aleutian Islands.
Infantry?
Yes. Advance Rifle Platoon Scout.
The Aleutians?
In the winter.
Colonel, sir, I begs to report you have found a volunteer, namely I.
Dr. Horn had arranged the terminus of the machine poles to be tapped into metal helmets which were adjusted on the heads of the two men.
This here reminds me of playing left tackle.
Ready, Lieutenant?
Ready.
But, Colonel, sir, maybe I better not try this. Well, I mean, I cancel my GI insurance.
The Aleutians?
Yes, sir, Colonel, sir. Well, goodbye.
The test was an anticlimax. It worked. McCabe, that is, McCabe's body, reported himself as Private Ethan Coffin in a broad down-east dialect. I had Horn switch them back, and then I went back to my tent and put through a call. Crash priority.
General Fallon's be on a scrambler circuit, Colonel, sir.
All right. Now leave, McCabe. This is top secret.
They don't never tell me nothing. I swear it's worse than grade school.
Now, General...
Colonel!
Van Pelt, what's the idea of barging in? I'm making a top secret
You
call.
didn't let Horn make his test. You didn't...
Now, out, Van Pelt, out.
That's all he's been waiting for. You've got to listen
McCabe,
to me. Colonel!
Escort Mr. Van Pelt out. I was floating on a cloud of pure joy. I could see my eagles within my grasp. Maybe even a full star. I told the general my plan. Are you still there, sir? Oh, well, you see, we use the device for intelligence. Suppose someone way up top in their government should visit the United States. We switch him, put our own man in his body, you see? Or in wartime, take a few prisoners and put our men inside their bodies. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can be available for a staff meeting at 0900. Yes, sir. General Windermere. Lieutenant General Windermere. Oh, why not? General of the Armies.
Colonel, sir.
Oh. What is it, McCabe?
That Mr. Van Pelt.
Listen, McCabe, next time I'm on the top secret scrambler to the Pentagon, don't you dare let anybody into the command tent.
No, sir, Colonel, sir. But this here Van Pelt...
I don't want to hear about him. Now let him cool his heels a while.
Well, he ain't. That is, he left.
Good.
But he carried on something frightful. He kept saying Mr. Horn wanted to live forever.
What?
Screw, he ain't it. That's what he said. He said all Horn was waiting on was to make a test on human beings. He said that he's going to grab the first man he runs into and steal his body. I think he is drunk or something.
McCabe, call a condition red alert.
Well, what for?
Don't argue. Oh, never mind. You go up to the laboratory and take Dr. Horn into custody. I'll give the alert. Now move. I could see it all immediately. I grabbed my sidearm and buckled it on. Then I threw the switch that signaled a red alert throughout the unit. Just what you'd expect from a selfish civilian like Horn. He'd take an invention like this and use it to steal other people's bodies to prolong his own nearly senile existence in a younger body. And if that happened, there goes my General Star. Because he'd surely smash the machine and we'd never be able to trace him or switch him back, and we wouldn't know which body he stole. I was held up at the inner perimeter for 5 precious minutes while some idiot insisted on a password. I just happened to forget it, although I had issued it in the morning. Luckily, while I was swearing at him, I accidentally hit the right combination and let me through. Van Pelt had gone into the laboratory. I knew that. Probably to try to stop the old man. But the effect would be to supply him with a body. He'd have to swap immediately. He couldn't take the chance of a heart attack. I ran into the laboratory, my sidearm drawn. Horn! Dr. Horn! I tripped over a human body. Still warm. Dr. Horn. His cast-off cocoon. Abandoned. And then in front of me, I saw him. Van Pelt!
Too late! Too late!
Now, wait. Listen. Oh, McCabe, what happened to you? He slugged you, did he?
Too late!
Now, wait. Don't smash the machine. Van Pelt, I know it's really you, Dr. Horn, and Van Pelt's body. Now put down that gun.
Oh, smash it! Smash it!
Stop. Don't break the machine. Listen, Dr. Horn, I'll help you. I'll see you get a good, healthy body as long as you want it. Dr. Horn, think of the safety of our country. Think of security.
No, I'm not Doctor.
Who shot that? McCabe, put that pistol away, you fool! Oh, Horn. Dr. Horn, speak to me. Now, I know it's you in Van Pelt's body. Now speak to me, Dr. Horn. Oh, he's dead. McCabe, you simple-minded... Why did you kill him? Oh, everything is gone. My General Star, everything. All right, McCabe, report to your quarters. You'll get a court-martial that'll make your hair curl. I sat there in the wrecked laboratory, and I almost cried. Everything gone, the machine, the brilliant mind that knew its secret. I looked at the corpse of Van Pelt that held the mind of Dr. Horn before that idiot McCabe had put a bullet through the brain and killed both. I could almost feel cheerful as I thought of the court-martial to come. It was at that moment that Sergeant O'Hare came in to tell me that McCabe wanted me on the telephone. I picked it up and waited to hear the miserable rat crawl and plead for mercy.
Colonel, sir, this here's Corporal McCabe.
McCabe, there is no use pleading for mercy. I trust you have managed to find your quarters. You're under arrest.
That's what I thought. I don't think I'll stay for the court-martial, Lieutenant. They bore me.
McCabe, but the voice. Dr. Horn.
Precisely, Lieutenant, precisely. Goodbye now. If a body meet a body coming through the... Goodbye, Lieutenant. Thanks for the body.
Fred Collins again, and I'll have another word about X-1 in a moment.
Have you ever asked yourself what this country's most important natural resource is? I'm Dorothy Olson, NBC Bandstand singing schoolteacher. Our most important resource? Well, you might consider it our mineral deposits, or our tremendous sources of water power, or maybe our great forests. Well, these are all very important natural resources, but there's one resource that's more important than all these combined. Our children. Don't neglect them or their educational facilities. Poor schools breed inadequate citizens for tomorrow. And another thing, keep your youngsters in tip-top shape so that they won't miss important school days. Dress them against the weather so they won't catch needless winter colds. Check their wardrobe as they go back to school this fall to be sure that they have plenty of the right kind of clothing. Remember, our children are this nation's most important natural resource. It's your job to protect their future as they go back to school this fall.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
The magic island of Euclidia may be a grand place for G47 and his scientists, but the Gregory Yacht Party are not enjoying it much. When Mrs. Patricia Gregory with Captain Tex Bradford and young Jerry Hall sailed from Los Angeles in search of Joan Gregory, Mrs. Gregory's long-lost daughter, they had many thrilling adventures and once made their escape from the scientists on Euclidia. Their freedom lasted only a few hours, however, and once again they are prisoners, held in the 9th level of the artificial island. Jerry and Joan have gone on a tour of that level, looking for some means of escape, and Patricia and Tex have followed them. Now, both searching parties are apparently hopelessly lost. As the last time we saw them, Jerry and Joan were locked in one steel room, and the captain and Mrs. Gregory in another, where we find them now.
Oh, it's no use, Tex. We're locked in this room to stay.
Sure looks like it, Pat, but why?
Well, we're prisoners, of course.
Yes, but why should this one room close up automatically as soon as we get in it?
I'm not convinced Joan was right about the scientists all giving their attention to something else. I think we've been watched all the time, and this room is a handy place to keep us until G47 is ready to do what he sees fit to do with us.
You may be right. One thing is sure. There's no sense in wearing out our hands trying to push these steel doors open.
Look, Tex, how beautifully polished this steel is. These doors are perfect mirrors.
Mirrors? Uh-huh, that's it.
What's what?
These panels are mirrors. Mirrors of polished steel.
Yes, but
Well,
what?
don't you see, Pat? They're not doors at all.
Not doors?
No.
But they must be. They all look exactly alike.
Yeah, they look alike, but they aren't. Don't you see it? They really are mirrors. And with the exception of one panel, which is actually a door, the rest of them are only reflections.
Then we've been pounding on sections of the wall?
Sure we have. We got excited and lost our heads for a minute. Now all we have to do is to go slow. Try each of these doors, or rather panels, until we find the one that's a real door, and we can open it just as easy as we did when we came in.
It's worth trying, at least.
Yes, and we'll take no chances on getting mixed up this time. I've got a heavy black pencil here. We'll make a mark on each panel we try, and we won't be doing all that over again.
All right, well, we'll start with this one. No, it isn't here. I'm sure of that.
Okay, then I'll make a big cross on it, and we'll know what... That's funny.
Have you anything to sharpen the pencil with?
Well, it's sharp enough.
But it didn't leave any mark on the door, Tex.
Watch it now while I try it again.
Tex, did you see that?
Yes, it did make a mark. But within a fraction of a second, almost instantly, the mark faded out.
I don't like this. Everything we come in contact with smacks of the supernatural.
Well, it is a little nerve-wracking, but there's nothing supernatural about it.
Well, that pencil mark disappearing so quickly certainly is...
Some sort of paint they've treated these doors with, I think. Nothing to be afraid of. But it sure wrecks my idea about marking the panels.
Then what are we to do?
Well, let's see. Supposing we stand still and count all the panels in the room. Then count them as we go around. That should do it.
What was that, Tex?
Sounded like something heavy struck the roof of this room.
There it is again.
As if a large magnet. Pat, do you feel this room moving?
Yes, Tex. Why, it's rising, isn't it?
I'll say it's rising. This thing acts like an elevator.
It must be an elevator. Jerry and Joan described the sound of those giant magnets when they rode in one of these elevators.
That must be another level we've just passed. The 8th, if Joan was right about ourselves being on the 9th.
But this can't be a regular elevator.
Sure acts like one to me.
But the size of it, Tex, as large as the living room in my home.
They don't seem to care how big anything is around this island. If they want it moved, it moves.
That must have been the 7th floor.
Well, I'm glad we're going up. I'll feel better when we're near the surface of this island.
It isn't very pleasant being locked up 90 feet below the surface of the ocean. But what if we're leaving Jerry and Joan down there?
No use worrying about that now, Pat. We can't control this. We may be getting into a position to help them as well as ourselves.
Yes, and that was the 6th level. And these levels are 10 feet in height. We're moving much slower than in an ordinary elevator.
And this steel room must weigh as much as a half a dozen ordinary elevators.
Of course. I wonder what we'll find at the surface.
Probably a reception by someone who doesn't like us very well.
And Jerry and Joan?
We'll have to wait and see.
That was the 5th floor.
You mean this is the 5th floor? We're still here.
Why, so we are. We've stopped moving.
This must be as far as we're going. Look, Pat. That door is opening.
Then we did try the right one.
Opens easy enough when you know how.
But who's opening it, Tex?
No one. That whole ride of ours was automatically controlled, I believe. Something tells me we ought to get out of this elevator while we have a chance. Might decide to go down again.
Very well, Tex, if you think it's wise.
I think it's just as wise to get out here as it is to allow ourselves to be taken down to that 9th floor again.
We didn't get out any too soon.
Looks that way.
It sounded as if it went up.
We might have stayed on it and reached the top of the island.
I think we'll have a great deal more opportunity to look around here unmolested than we would have on the surface.
No doubt of that. Let's start looking. Same thing here we had down below. Halls and halls full of shining steel doors. We don't know where any of them go.
Joan said all elevator doors open toward the outer rim of the island. And if that's the case, we should be working toward the outside by going straight ahead.
Right. We'll begin with this door in front of us. Well, we got that far anyway. What now?
Well, I'd say straight ahead again, Tex.
You're guessing all right so far. Come on, let's go.
Well, that's a queer-looking thing, Tex. Do you know what it is?
I think it's the nose of one of the Euclidean submarines. Yep, that's what it is. We're in one of the submarine locks. That's the opening in the nose of the sub.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anyone around. Would it be safe to look into the submarine?
Why not? They might as well find us looking at that as at anything else on this island.
Tex, there's someone in that submarine.
Are you sure?
Yes, way back in the stern. I can see a shadow moving around.
Can you see how many people there are?
No. Why?
I have one of the ray guns Joan got for us. I'd be tempted to argue with him if there weren't too many in there.
It might work. Joan said the Euclideans never put more than 2 people on those subs under ordinary conditions.
Hey, Mrs. Gregory, Captain Bradford.
Pat, I thought I heard Jerry.
Yes, but keep your voice down. If we heard him, those people in the submarine must have heard him, too.
Mother, Captain, come in here quietly without speaking further.
Well, that was Joan,
Quiet, Pat, and do as she said. I'll give you a hand. You'll have to climb up into the nose of that sub. Come on, easy now.
I'll make it all right, Tex. Oh, Joan, dear, what on earth is
Quiet,
that?
Mother. Get back into the central portion of the ship at once.
What do I do, Joan?
Same as Mother. Hurry, and quietly. Come here, Jerry. Quietly now.
Sure, I know.
Help me close this port. Gently.
Gently, it is.
Now lock that breech.
Gotcha.
And now we can hurry back to Mother and the Captain in the central section.
Better be quiet about it.
There is no need for silence now. I have cut off all possible methods of communicating sound or motion to the island.
I can see that you're confident we may speak with safety now, Joan.
We may indeed, Mother.
Then tell us how you kids managed to get here and into this submarine.
It was not cleverness on our part.
I'll say it wasn't. Oh, boy. We got into a room all full of doors and couldn't get out.
Well, that's just exactly what happened to us, wasn't it, Ted?
Yeah.
And the room then rose to this level.
And we found out we were in an elevator all the time.
That's exactly what we went through.
Yes.
Well, when we found the nose of this thing open already for us and nobody here, we came aboard.
And I had just completed testing the controls, and Jerry was to return to the 9th level in an attempt to bring you up here.
But you got here all by yourselves. So let's get underway.
What do you mean, underway?
Surely, Mother. You and the Captain sit back there where you will not interfere with the controls.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on, Joan. You're not going to try to steal this Euclidean submarine.
She's not going to do anything else but.
Oh, dear. Do you know how to operate it? Are you sure, Joan?
I believe so. I have watched the commander operate the ship many times.
Well, you've sure got your nerve, Joan. But if you'll steal it and think you can run it, we'll ride with you, won't we, Pat?
I should say we will.
Ready, Joan?
One moment, Jerry. That lever will release the mechanism which reverses the nose from that submarine lock. When I signal you, pull the lever well back.
Okay, kid. I'm ready.
Then pull.
Hello.
No, we're not. That's just the outer shell revolve.
But how can we see it?
The submarine is constructed of transparent steel.
Okay, Joan. The nose is clear. Now what?
I will have to perform this alone. To turn around will create too great a disturbance on Euclidia. I must run with reverse jets for a few miles.
Let her go.
Joan, we're going very fast to be running backwards, aren't we?
The speed is identical with the best forward speed. These submarines are reversible. We will soon attain the maximum speed of 48 knots.
48 knots? You mean this thing will make 48 knots an hour underwater?
It sure will. This is the fastest submarine on the island.
And it will operate at a depth of 1 mile, although not at that speed. But if we are pursued, I shall dive for the floor of one of the ocean canyons, and we will never be caught.
Never be caught? Joan, dear, you can't mean we're actually getting away from Euclidia.
To be sure, Mother.
But, June, isn't there some way G-47 and the scientists can overtake us or pull us back to the island?
Not a chance, Tex. This is the fastest submarine they've got, and their magnetic stuff won't work on their own boat.
Correct, Jerry. There is, to my knowledge, no possible way for us to be overtaken and returned to Euclidia.
Oh, Joan, it's wonderful. I can just hardly believe this.
It must be true, though, Pat. We're sure leaving that place behind.
And I'm not doing any crying over it. That magic island is all right for the guys who run it, but I've had enough.
I, too, have had enough, Jerry. I will proceed at full speed.
There's nothing any finer than a taste of freedom after being shut up against your will. The Gregory party is now enjoying their second bit of freedom since landing at Euclidia, the magic island. When Jerry and Joan set out to do a little detective work in the lower levels of the island, they were only hoping, and rather faintly hoping at that they might possibly discover some weak link in the Euclideans' plans to keep them prisoners. They had more good luck than anyone expected, and found one of the fast submarines with no one guarding it. Mrs. Gregory and the captain arrived at the same time, and with Joan at the controls, our four friends have helped themselves to the 100-foot submarine. They are now racing to get away from Euclidia and the power of G-47 and his scientists.
I believe we have now attained maximum speed. You may close that valve, Jerry.
Okay, Joan. Close it is.
How can you maintain your speed in this thing if you shut off the compressed air, Joe?
The air is not used as motive power, Captain Bradford. It merely forces the fuel pellets into the combustion tank.
But, Joan, darling, what makes this submarine go?
Did you not see that small cylinder Jerry inserted in that heavy projectile-shaped tank?
See here, Mrs. Gregory, one of these little things.
Oh, I see them, Jerry, but they're hardly larger than a golf ball.
They are quite large enough to propel this submersible ship for a distance of 25 miles at maximum speed.
But, Joan, 25 miles on one of these little capsules?
Approximately, Captain.
Oh, sure. There's enough of these little things here to take us to Los Angeles.
To Los Angeles?
Precisely, Mother. The first requirement when a submarine commander lands her boat at Euclidia is to refuel, and the minimum charge is for 5,000 miles.
5,000 miles? And we're only about 4,000 from home.
Then you mean... Oh, I can't even seem to say it. You mean we're actually away from that island with enough fuel to take us safely back to California?
I have stated the simple truth.
Well, it may be the truth, Joan, but it isn't so simple. How's our speed now?
We are making only 44 knots. There is some slight defect in the gas combustion apparatus.
Only 44 knots?
Yeah. Too bad we've got to crawl along at 44 miles an hour on the water. I'll bet the Navy would feel bad if their ships wouldn't do any better than this.
There is no Navy in the world with a submarine that will make any such speed, or even half of it, Jerry.
Oh, Johnny was only kidding you, Joan.
44 knots. 44 nautical miles an hour. Why, that's faster than our heavy surface craft can travel.
It is interesting to contemplate the advances which may be made after this system of propulsion has been perfected.
Yeah, maybe they'll do all right after they've quit fooling around and really get these things to running.
Now, Jerry, if you'll let Joan be sensible for a few minutes, I'd like to ask her a few questions about the continued operation of this boat and learn something about how to navigate. This is my first submarine experience.
Okay, Tex. I'll keep still.
What is it you wish to know, Captain?
Well, you started this thing, and you're keeping it running. So if you know how to do that, I'll leave it in your hands. But I'd like to be of some help to you. Thought it might be with the navigation.
Tex is one of the finest navigators in America, Joan.
That is interesting, but there is no need for your services at this time, Captain.
Looks like we're just going for the ride.
Sure looks that way, Jerry.
I believe we are now sufficiently removed from Euclidia that we may, with safety, reverse the craft.
Reverse? You mean we've been going backward all this time?
At 44 knots?
To be sure. I explained that when we left the island.
Don't you remember Joan saying that she didn't dare turn the sub around for fear it would make such a fuss in the water that the Euclideans might get wise?
Yes, I remember. But in the excitement of getting away, I'd forgotten it.
And we've been running full speed astern for the last 10 minutes?
Precisely.
I don't see why we can't feel that, Joan. I can't ride backwards in the train without feeling it.
On the train, you know you are riding backward, do you not?
Well, sure. But why?
I will give you the same sensation here if you desire it.
You'll give us a sensation?
How can you do anything about that, Joan? We've been steadily running backward, and I hadn't noticed it.
I will open the visibility slides in the sides of the submarine.
Hey, don't let that water in.
The water will not come through that transparent steel, and you should know that, Jerry.
Yeah, I did see it before.
How wonderfully clear those openings are. Everything in the water is as plain as day.
Yeah, now you can tell you're going backward all right. Seeing that marine life scooting by in the wrong direction could be mighty upsetting.
I think I'd just as soon go forward, Skipper.
I will now reverse the craft.
What, at this speed?
We will lose momentum gradually. I will cut off the power and run in a wide arc.
How could this thing be so noiseless all at once, Joan? We're still rushing through the water. Why don't we hear the water as we did before?
You did not at any time hear the rush of water around the ship, Captain Bradford. You heard the water passing through the power channels. That steel is not noiseless, as it is much more simple to check your power if you can hear it.
But the rest of this boat is made of noiseless steel.
Yes, Mother.
Boy, you sure see things when you go riding with these Euclideans.
I am no longer a Euclidean, Jerry.
Good for you, Joan.
Then you'd better remember that when we start to tell you how dumb they are in my world.
Joan will soon be of our world, Jerry.
That will make me very happy, Mother. In less than 80 hours, we will arrive in Los Angeles.
Golly whiskers.
I can't think of anything better than that to say, Jerry.
It's almost too much for me.
Hey, you sure take off fast.
We are in a hurry, are we not?
We're in a hurry to get away from Euclidia, yes. But, Joan, is this submarine safe at such speed?
Euclidean machinery is nearly perfect. Speed has no effect on this craft.
Well, it sure has some effect on me. Are we doing full speed already?
The maximum will be attained in a few more seconds, Captain.
One thing nice about these things, they sure make up their minds plenty fast.
Joan, I don't mean to worry you with a lot of childish questions, but I'm interested in navigation. Now, how do you know where we're going?
Just what I'd like to know. These steel slides in the side of the ship are fine, but I can't see where they'd be any help in navigating.
Show them the gadgets, Joan.
Gadget?
Sure, the dingus. Thingamajig you navigate with.
There is nothing like that here. But I will show you how the instruments operate.
Oh, that'll do just as well.
Well, I don't see any instruments, at least not enough to run a submarine with.
We seem to be running all right, though.
Operation of this submarine is very simple. I will pull down the chart of our present course.
Our present course? Do you mean you've had this run charted in advance?
Of course not, Mother. That would be quite impossible as we had no advanced knowledge of the cruise.
Had you there, Pat.
Never mind, Mrs. Gregory. I feel just like you do about it. There's a nice straight line with Los Angeles marked on the north end of it. But how did it get there?
We haven't had any time to draw any pictures since we started.
This is one of our 16 basic or permanent charts, showing a true course from Euclidia to the 16 principal ports of the world.
And our course is a perfectly straight line?
Insofar as navigation is concerned, yes. Although we will naturally deflect to avoid striking any undersea mountains.
Hey, I hope we do.
Yes, but what are you steering this thing with?
It is not necessary to steer, as you term it. I have merely set this lever at the point marked Los Angeles, and in good time we will arrive at that destination.
But it's impossible to sail a straight course for that distance. We must surely run dangerously near islands and sunken reefs.
We will pass around them safely. The impulse deflectors will attend to that.
We'll go around these things like that, automatically?
To be sure.
Joan, you're sailing a submarine at over 40 miles an hour without being able to see where you're going?
I am constantly watching the seaway on our course, and all is clear for several miles in advance of this ship.
Where are you seeing all that?
In this reflector suspended before me. You may look over my shoulder if you wish.
Go ahead, Pat. Take a look.
Oh, I'd like to. Tex, you can see through the water almost as clearly as you could see on the surface.
Golly, Whiskers. You sure can.
Say, that's remarkable, Joan. How did they do it?
We utilize an electric ray of atomic principle. This ray is projected directly in advance of the submarine. Mineral salts are dissolved along the course of the beam from the ray, and the dissolving salts form a path of remarkable clarity through the water.
Well, that's nothing short of amazing.
And you'd never be bothered by fog.
Euclideans are not, as you say, bothered by fog under any conditions. This is only one of the many rays used under various conditions to control visibility.
Huh. And everybody thought I was crazy when I said we were going to visit a magic island.
There is no magic on Euclidia, Jerry.
Yeah, I know. Old G47 is always raving about everything on that island being nothing but scientific fact, which is all okay with me. But just the same, it's the kind of stuff that they call magic in my country.
I can understand how Jerry feels. When you see our world, Joan, and when you see how far we are behind Euclidia and all of our machines and inventions, you'll be able to understand why this seems like magic to us.
I will try to understand.
Do you realize that when this submarine plows into Los Angeles Harbor, that we'll be the most famous people in the world?
After this small cruise, Euclidean submarines have circled the globe without rising to the surface.
Oh, yeah? How do they carry enough fuel?
We have a great deal of space here that is not being utilized. It is possible to carry fuel for 50,000 miles.
Well, no matter what you think about this cruise, there's going to be a lot of excitement when we dock.
Tex, this boat is armed, isn't it?
I guess would be yes.
You bet, with a capital Y. They've got enough trick weapons on board this thing to capture more than Los Angeles.
Well, isn't that going to present something of a problem when we sail into the harbor? Entering a port with an armed vessel is something that takes a little preparation.
Well, I think we can square that, Pat. After all, the government must have an idea as to what we're up against.
But what can we do if they won't let us into the harbor?
It's not a question of getting into the harbor. We'd be in there before anybody could stop us. What I don't like is the idea that someone will spread the story all over the waterfront. We'll have our hair full of newspaper reporters and newsreel cameras before we can protect our secret.
You will not wish it known that a Euclidean submarine has brought you back to the United States?
Why, Tex?
The Euclidean must have agents in every country. They probably have instruments on the island strong enough to locate this submarine on the surface. They'd pick the news out of a dozen news broadcasts in an hour. I'd like to keep this quiet until I can get to the government agents. Take the proper steps to protect ourselves against the Euclideans, as well as to lay our plans about going back to take over that island.
But we'll have to come up somewhere, Tex. And if we don't come up in some harbor, well, we'll never reach land, and I don't see how it can be helped.
Can you offer anything, Joan?
That is a simple problem.
Maybe it is to you, but it looks plenty hard to me to pop up out in the ocean someplace, hide a submarine, and walk into the harbor.
Jerry may be sketching it rather broadly, Joan, but that's what we have to think about.
I will take care of that. When we reach a position within 5 miles of the harbor, we will submerge to the ocean floor. The submarine will remain there indefinitely, safely anchored, and we will proceed to the harbor with our life rings.
Sounds easy, but 5 miles is a long ways to swim. If we could get out of a submarine on the ocean floor and reach the surface alive.
Yeah, it's no sense to try to get from a sub to the surface.
With the equipment I will show you, it will be easy. Please have no fear of that. If we are allowed to reach the harbor, I promise you we will land without the submarine and without trouble.
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
The essential character of any frontier you explore is that if you get into it and stick your neck out, you get it lopped off, and there's no help. The frontier is the place where there isn't any reserve, where there isn't anyone to help you if you get into trouble. There is no support. Tonight's story is a story of a true frontier, You know, sometimes the frontier lies just the other side of a doorway. It doesn't seem very different, but it can be the difference between life and sudden death. We are in a somewhat different position. We can summon support here. I can push my little push button here and summon our supporters. You know, when we think of that glamorous future, we sometimes tend to forget that things cost money now and things will cost in the future. Let's suppose that there are ships and they are going out between the worlds. They carry emergency supplies for expeditions that may be in trouble on some of the planets that are being explored. But they can't carry an extra lot of them. It costs too much. They carry parachutes, in effect, to drop them as they flash by the world that's in trouble. Little parachutes for space, a plastic bubble with a tiny motor, just enough to lower it down to the planet without destruction. They'd probably use human pilots to do it, too. Because, you know, a human brain is the lightest of all computing devices. It's lighter than an electronic computer. It would be cheaper and wiser to use human pilots to drop these little plastic bubble parachutes of space to a planet in trouble. Let's consider one where there's an expedition that's gotten into medical trouble. The men are sick and they need a serum that they don't have. They've called for help from one of the passing interstellar liners. The liner has stopped for a moment, dropped one of its little space parachutes, and gone on its way, flashing on to some other star somewhere else. And in that emergency dispatch ship, that little space parachute, the pilot discovers...
Somebody who shouldn't be there is in that supplies closet. The gauge is never wrong. It says there's a living human body inside that closet radiating heat.
Come on out, chum. Open that door, I'll open it. Come on out.
Oh, no.
All right. I give up. Now what?
Sit down.
All right. Well, you still haven't told me. I mean, what happens now? Do I pay a fine or something?
What are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to see my brother, that's all.
Your brother?
Mm-hmm. He's on Woden. He's with Group 2.
Oh.
I haven't seen him for 10 years, ever since he went there.
What's his name?
Cross. Jerry Cross. Do you know him?
Only his name. I've never met him.
Oh, I was only 8 years old when he left.
What was your original destination aboard the Stardust?
Meteor. I had a job to go to.
You knew you were breaking a rule when you stowed away on this ship?
Oh, I knew I was breaking some kind of regulation.
Is that all it means to you?
Well, I'm
There was a sign posted there. Didn't you see it?
A sign?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the one that said unauthorized personnel keep out?
That's the one.
Oh, well, I guess I saw it.
And ignored it.
Oh, come on. Now, look, don't be so grim.
How did you manage to stow away?
Oh, it was easy. I just saw my chance and acted on impulse. I saw there was plenty of room in that closet, and so here I am.
Yeah, here you are.
Oh, please, don't worry. I'll be a model criminal or prisoner or whatever it is I am now. And I'll pay for my keep, too. And when we get to Woden, well, I'll make myself useful.
Quiet.
Sorry.
You have an identification disc?
Yes?
Give it to me.
Well, my name is Marilyn. Marilyn
Let me have the disc.
Okay. Will I get it back?
No.
Oh, but
I'm sorry, I need the information on it. I have to put it all in my report.
But when you've got all the information, surely I'll get it back. I need it.
Do you know why I'm flying this ship to Woden?
No.
No idea?
Well, I know the Stardust got a message. I suppose you're taking extra equipment.
I'm taking serum.
Oh.
If I don't get that serum to Woden, 6 men are going to die.
My brother, too?
Not if he's with Group 2. He's 28,000 miles away from all this. On the opposite side of the planet.
Opposite side? Well, then how will I get to see him?
You're not going there. I'm sorry.
Look, I don't understand. You are going to Woden.
Yes.
Well, then if...
But you're not. You're going to leave this ship.
You mean I won't get to see Jerry?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, please.
I told you I'm sorry.
Well, When are you going to do? Radio some other ship to have me take him back?
There are no other ships to radio.
Well, then...
Don't you understand?
No.
You can't stay aboard this ship.
What am I supposed to do? Jump overboard out into space?
You won't have to jump.
What?
You'll be jettisoned. You won't feel a thing. Sometimes the universe seems cruel. I think that's a mistake. It isn't cruel, but it is ruthless. You must learn the lessons. And once you've learned them, you're all right. Unless you forget them. I'm afraid that girl forgot that there were frontiers. That there were places where there was no help.
You are joking.
These are not things you joke about.
No, you can't mean all this.
There is nothing anyone can do for you.
It just doesn't make any sense. I just can't believe you're really serious. But you are. You do mean that you're going to make me die?
It's the way it has to be. No human being in the universe can help you.
Please, oh, please.
Nobody wants it this way. Nobody would ever let it be this way if it were humanly possible to change it.
I can't believe it.
I told you this ship is carrying fever serum to 6 men on Woden. All 6 will die unless I get there.
I know you told me.
A small ship like this one is provided with barely enough fuel to get to its destination. If you stay aboard, your added weight, once we hit gravity, will cause it to use up all its fuel before we land. That means, in simple terms, you and I will die and 6 other men will die waiting for the serum.
Is that it?
That's it.
Just that? We don't have enough fuel?
Yeah.
So I must die alone or take 7 other men with me?
That's how it stacks up.
And nobody really wants me to die?
Nobody does.
Well, then maybe... I mean, are you sure nothing...
Nothing can be done for you.
I just can't believe this is real. Less than an hour ago, I was a passenger on the Stardust. Now I'm on this ship, and I'm going to die, and nobody cares.
That's not true. We all care. It's different out here. It's not like being back on Earth.
I'll never see Mom and Daddy again. I'll never see Jared. I'll never see anything again.
Hasn't your brother ever written to you?
Yes.
What did he talk about?
Things? I mean, well, all the things he was doing and how much he wanted to see us all again.
Didn't he ever tell you about frontier law?
What?
Look, out here we live by a different set of values.
I don't know anything about frontier law.
You ignored a warning. Out here you can only make that mistake just once. Oh, a lot of mistakes have been made. And a lot of men have died making them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about frontiers. I don't know about fuel or what was going to happen to me. I don't want to die. Why should I have to die? Just because I wanted to see my brother.
What's the use of trying to make her understand? What do I do? Quote the regulation tour, paragraph L, section 8, interstellar regulations. Quote, any stowaway discovered aboard an emergency dispatch ship will be immediately upon discovery jettisoned into space, period, end quote. And what good would it do to her anyway? Okay, so H amount of fuel will not power an EDS with a massive M plus X safely to its destination. How could she understand that? Look at her. 18 years old, brown curly hair, blue eyes, weight 110 pounds. And to me, she's just the unwanted factor in a very cold equation.
Crying won't help, will it? I mean, you're going to radio my brother.
If you want me to.
What will you tell him?
Nothing. I'll let you tell him.
Oh. I'm almost afraid to hear his voice. It'll make him sound so near to me. And all the time he'll be so far away. Just a voice. That's all he'll be, just a voice.
I'll call him anyway. All right.
Yes.
Wyden, EDS 34G11, emergency. Come in, Woden. Group 2, identify yourselves, please. This is a call for Jerry Cross. Please come in.
Jerry? Jerry, where are you? Jerry, why didn't you answer? Jerry, they're going to let me die.
Keep quiet. They're coming on now.
Whatever happens, a man will always try to find some way out, even when he knows it's impossible. He'll still make a try. But sometimes, particularly on the frontiers, you're up against the problem that there isn't any way out. You're up against it.
Wait, I didn't hear.
He said goodbye, little sister.
Oh. I had so much more to talk about.
He knew that.
Was it really him?
It was your brother.
His voice sounded changed.
10 years ago, he was a little more than a boy. Now he's a man. Voice has changed.
Did I sound frightened when I talked to him?
No, you sounded fine.
Oh. How long do I have?
Oh, a little while.
What'll happen to me afterwards, I mean?
Nothing, I guess.
I'll just go on floating in space, is that it?
Something like that.
May I see?
See what?
Out there. Can I see it on the view screen?
Yeah, sure. There.
Well, there's nothing there. There's nothing at all. Well, there's some stars over there. I didn't see them. I was thinking of Mom and Daddy. They don't even know yet I'll never be going back to them, like I promised I would. It's funny, the things you remember. Like the time when I was only 6 years old, and my kitten got run over in the street. And the way Jerry held me in his arms and told me not to cry. And when I woke up in the morning, there she was on my bed, with a brand new white fur coat. Just like Jerry had promised. It was a long time after that when Mama told me Jerry had gone to the pet shop at 4 a.m. He got the man out of bed and told him if he didn't produce a white kitten, somebody's neck was going to be broken. So the man found a white kitten for me.
You'll be gone soon. The little hand on that gauge will go back to 0 and the equation will be balanced again.
Is it time yet?
What?
Is it time yet?
Time?
For me.
Almost.
How will it happen?
You'll go into that compartment. It's an airlock, and that's about all.
Oh, no, it can't be all. You'll do something.
I'll simply push a button.
And I'll be shot out into space.
I told you, you won't feel anything.
Yes, you told me that. I'm very grateful.
You're all right?
I keep thinking everybody has to die sooner or later. It's no worse for me than anyone else, is it? Except most people don't know when it's going to happen, and I do.
You understand I have no power to help you. No power anywhere could help you out here.
All right.
If there was just one... But there isn't.
I know. Jerry understood that.
Yeah. Your brother's quite a guy.
He said everything will be all right. It will, won't it?
Everything, yes.
All right, I'm ready. Tell me what to do.
When I pull this lever, that door will open. Just walk into the chamber.
Please hurry up. Do I walk in now?
Yeah.
It's cold in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It doesn't really matter. Goodbye. You've been awfully kind.
Goodbye, honey.
Please close the door.
Marilyn.
Yes?
There's no hatred, no malice in what I have to do.
I know.
Bye now.
EDS 34G11, calling Group 1 on Planet Woden. Come in, please. I'm landing in just 10 minutes. We have to learn in this world of ours. And some of the things that we learn make us feel that we're real tough and real strong, and boy, we can take it. Next time, we've got a story about a kid who was sure he was tough. A real tough guy. Until he ran up against some people who were in the business of learning things. Sometimes you have to find out such things as whether a man's eyeballs fall out when he's decelerated too suddenly. These men aren't tough. They're just curious.
Join us again next week on both Wednesday and Friday nights when John Campbell returns with more of his fascinating talk and stories while exploring tomorrow. Tonight you heard Mason Adams and Joyce Gordon in our cast. Script was by John Fleming, from a story written by Tom Godwin. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York.
The following program is transcribed.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, and today in the little flood-locked village of Hilltop, a desperate attempt is being made to thwart the plans of First Page Harry and his gang of convicts. We'll take you to the scene in a moment. But right now, let's stand by for a tip from Superman. Hi there, Pep Gang. Of course, you've heard of the ostrich hiding his head in the sand so no one would see him. Well, you'll want everyone to see you if you've been wearing one of those bright-colored Army, Navy, and Marine Air Squadron insignia and warplane buttons that come only in packages of Kellogg's Pep. Why, only the other day I talked with a young fellow wearing every one of the Pep Squadron insignia in his cap. He'd been trading those metal buttons with his friends. One of them especially caught my eye. A fierce-looking black bear with red and white markings standing against a yellow background, getting ready to throw a red and white bomb. When I asked the kid what it stood for, he said it was his brother's squadron insignia, the 471st Bombardment Squadron. And I'll bet there are a lot of you who have brothers or cousins whose flying squadron insignia you'd like to wear. You never know what button you may get in a package of Kellogg's Pep. In the new second series, there are 22 more for your collection. Now, you can't buy these buttons. They come only in packages of Kellogg's Pep. You don't send in a single penny, not even a box top. Just ask Mom to get you plenty of Kellogg's Pep. Then look for your prize inside the package. You'll find the Air Squadron insignia or warplane button at the bottom of the Pep package, in between the carton and the inner wax bag. It's a prize for you from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. And now, the adventures of Superman. In the tiny village of Hilltop, which is cut off from the world by a great flood, Lois Lane is the prisoner of 6 escaped convicts who have taken command of the town. Led by First Page Harry Doak, the convicts prepared a crude raft on which they planned to send Lois and the 37 remaining villagers over a huge falls to destruction. Tipped off by Lois, a small boy named Jerry Farber warns the villagers to hide. And then in the darkness, the boy mounted his pony and plunged into the raging floodwaters in a desperate attempt to reach a nearby city and secure help. It is now a few minutes later, and in the little bank where she is imprisoned, Lois is speaking through a barred window to Jerry's older brother, Martin. Listen.
Good heavens, Martin. The current will sweep Jerry and the pony over Mammoth Falls. Why did you let him try a crazy stunt like that?
Jerry's a brave kid, Miss Lane.
And when he put it up to me that the convict would finish him anyhow, and everybody else in this village, too, unless he could get help, well, what could I do?
You could have gone yourself. Jerry's just a kid.
Oh, I was wounded on Okinawa. I can hardly walk, let alone swim.
Oh, I'm sorry, Martin. I didn't know. I can't see you very well in the dark.
Oh, that's okay, Miss Lane.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But look, we've got to get you out of here and into the mine shaft with the villagers before the convicts come back.
That's impossible. I've been trying to get out, but it's no use. The door is sealed and the windows are barred.
I know. That's why I brought a hacksaw. Here, take hold of the can.
Oh, wonderful.
If we work fast, we may be able to saw through one of these bars in time. Just one will be enough. You're pretty slim. Okay. Start sawing with me.
Right. Let's go.
Not so jumpy. Take a longer, even stroke.
All right, Martin. Like this?
Yeah. That's fine.
Oh, dear. We're hardly making any dent at all.
Don't worry. Just keep working this saw.
Okay. But at this rate, we'll never get it sawed through before First Page, Harry and his men get back.
Oh, sure. They probably won't be back for quite a while.
How do you know?
Because they're hunting for the villagers. There's not much chance of their finding the entrance to the old mine in the dark. It's in the dairy's backyard, and the convicts don't know about it.
I hope you're right. But I haven't much confidence in our chances since First Aid Harry made me tell his army plane on the walkie-talkie radio that he and the other convicts were carried over another foot.
Certain rat.
Just a minute. Hold it, Martin, will you?
Huh? What's the matter? What are you stopping for?
I've got to catch my breath.
Oh, okay, but we can't waste much time.
Just give me a minute. I'm dizzy. The night seems to be so peaceful. Gee, you'd never be able to guess that 6 murderous convicts are loose in this village, would you?
No, you wouldn't. But that reminds me. We'd better start sawing again. Come on, Miss Lane. Let's go.
Okay.
Get your back in it. Keep in time with me.
Right. Look, do you think we're making any headway?
Sure we are. Keep sawing and don't talk. Save your breath. Wait, Miss Lane.
What's the matter?
Somebody's coming.
Oh. First Aid Harry and Squeaky. Quick, Martin, get away. Hurry, get to the mine shaft.
They're coming here, Miss Lane. I can't leave you.
Don't be silly, you can't help me. They've got guns and you've got a game leg. Quick, get away before they see you.
Who's that? Oh, where? For the bank when
They saw you. Run, Martin.
I can't run. My game leg. Stop, Miss Lane, out of sight.
Come over out through.
I've seen this guy before. He's one of them villagers. Sure. Sure I am. So what?
Oh, you can tell us what we want to know. Now,
Hey,
listen.
look, there's a hacksaw right here on the ground.
You must have been trying to get Miss Lane out, huh?
Yeah, huh? Well, I'll fix it. No, don't shoot him.
Put your gun down, Squeaky. All right, what's your name?
Marty. Marty Farber.
All right, Marty. Where's everybody in this village hiding?
I don't know.
Don't give me that routine. If you want to stay healthy, talk and talk fast. Now, where is everybody?
I don't know, I tell you. Let me make him talk for space. Now listen, White. I hate you. Let him alone. Coward, he's a wounded veteran. Let him alone. If he don't start talking, he'll be a dead veteran. Now, talk. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Don't worry, Miss Lightner. These rats won't get anything out of me. Oh, no. When I get through with you,
Hold it,
you won't
Squeaky.
be...
There's a plane coming.
So what? They can see us in the dark.
Can't take any chances. Maybe that kid and his pony were picked up on the river and he told about it. Take this guy into the bank.
The kid must be over Mammoth Falls by now. Let me work on this guy.
Shut up and do as I say. Now go on, hurry up.
Okay. Get up on your feet, you.
I'll open the door for you. Bring him in.
Right. Come on, move.
All right. Inside now, hurry up. The plane's starting to circle overhead. Stand back where you are, Miss Lane.
Get in there. Come on. What are you worrying about, First Page? No plane can land here. We're on a little hill and there's water all around.
They can drop parachutists, can't they? If that kid told them we were here.
Sure, he must have told them. That plane...
Button your lip, you.
I tell you, he's over the falls by now. He couldn't book that current in the river.
Maybe. But we can't take any chances. We got to get rid of all those villagers and then get away from here. Now listen, Barbara. I'm going to give you just 1 minute to tell us where everybody is hiding.
I tell you, I don't know.
Tell them, Marty.
No, I don't know.
Okay, you're asking for it. All right, Squeaky.
No, don't shoot.
Hold it.
We We won't answer, huh, Voice Page?
You got answers. Try to throw them off the track. Okay, Miss Lane, I'll press the talk button on the walkie-talkie. You find out what that Army bomber wants.
No, I won't.
Come in, Hilltop. Come in, please.
You die fast or slow, Miss Lane. Take your choice. If you do what I say to, I pull his trigger. Better do what he says, Miss Lane.
Army bomber to Hilltop. Why don't you answer? Come in, please.
All right.
I thought you'd get smart. All right, now the key's open. Go ahead.
Hilltop to Army bomber. What is it?
The Red Cross motorboat is in trouble. A lot disabled the rudder of the car that's carrying it toward Mammoth Falls.
Hey,
Yes?
We'll be near Hilltop in a few minutes. We've instructed them to try to head in with their oars. Be on the watch for them.
Tell him okay, Miss Lane.
Listen, we're in trouble.
You get just one more chance, sister.
What did you say, Hilltop? Come in.
I'm going to open the key again, Miss Lane. Just one phony word out of you, and you and Marty here both get it. All right, now tell him okay.
We'll do what we can.
Now you're talking.
Good. Try to get a line to them. If they can get ashore, the rudder can be repaired and the boat can be put back to River Glen. There are several people in trouble there. I'm signing off now. We'll contact you later. Good luck.
See? I told you they didn't know about us, Voice Page. That kid and his pony must have been drowned.
Yeah. Come on. You two, Miss Lane, and you, Marty. You can watch us hit the jackpot.
What do you mean, Voice Page? What are we going to do?
We're going to get that Red Cross boat, of course. Come on.
Hey, that's a swell idea.
Oh, talk about pennies from heaven. This saves our goose. But it cooks yours, Miss Lane. Cooks it for good. Curious, worried, Lois Lane and Marty Farber are forced to accompany the chuckling First Page Harry and his grinning henchman Sweetie. What is the wily convict's plan? We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. But first, here again is our good friend.
And now, Pep Gang, I want to ask you a question. When you see a flyer wearing an insignia you can't identify, doesn't it make you mad? Why, sure it does. Well, you'll find it a great help to study closely the Army, Navy, and Marine Air Squadron insignia and warplane buttons that come in packages of Kellogg's Pep. In the new second series, you'll find 22 more buttons for your collection, each different from the earlier ones you've been getting. Why, the rest of the gang will think you're pretty smart when you wear these bright-colored buttons on your cap, sweater, or jacket. And just name off what squadron they stand for fast as a wink. And you'll find out you've sure got your target bearings on some swell fun when you start trading these snazzy metal-based buttons to get a full set. And these buttons from Kellogg's Pep packages are a cinch to get, too. Sure, you don't have to send in any money or box tops. You just be sure to ask Mom to get a good supply of Kellogg's Pep so that you can eat it regularly. That super delicious whole wheat flake cereal. See what prize is there for you inside the package. Now, you'll find one of these easy-to-spot Air Squadron insignia or a warplane button at the bottom of the Pep package, in between the carton and the inner wax bag. It's your prize from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. As Lois Lane and the convicts in Hilltop were told of a disabled Red Cross motorboat which was being swept toward them on the current, Superman, having made Bend City safe against the flood, has renewed his search for Lois. As we join him now, he is streaking through the night above the dark flood waters.
I'm certain Lois is alive. And those escaped convicts, too. Where can they be? Let's see now. There's a little refugee camp on shore. No, Lois isn't there. There are several little maroon towns and villages. I'll have a look at all of them. Wait a minute. What's that down there? Great Scott. A boy and a pony. Caught in the current, and they're going down under. Down to them. Down! All right, take it easy, son. I'll have you out of this in a moment. Easy there, pony. Easy. One at a time, will you? There. Now to that nearest shore. Up and away! There we are, son. How do you feel? Easy now. Take it easy. You've had a bad time. I'll wrap you in my cloak and see if we can...
Look, everybody. Convict.
Convict? Did you say convict?
Yes. Miss Lane.
What about Miss Lane? Where is she?
This range.
Yes? Go on, son. Oh, passed out, poor kid. He was trying to tell me about Lois and a convict. I've got to get him to a doctor and fast. Up with him again. There. You too, pony. That's it. Now, up and away!
Leaping from the riverbank with the unconscious Jerry Farber and his pony in his arms, Superman streaked away over the dark, flooded waters, heading toward the lights of a large town. Will Jerry revive and direct Superman to Hilltop in time? And what is happening to Lois Lane, Marty Farber, and the 37 villagers huddled in the mine shaft? Don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications.
The preceding program was transcribed. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents the adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman who is today fearful that his rescue of Jerry Farber may have come too late to save him. And to save Lois Lane. We'll learn what happens in a moment. But right now, here's Dan McCullough to tell us something mighty interesting.
You know as well as I do, Pep Gang, that these war days are pretty serious. But it won't interfere with your scrap paper collecting and war stamp selling and the other things you're doing for the war effort if you have some real summertime fun at the same time. Yes, gang, there's no limit to the fun you can have all summer collecting and trading bright, colorful Pep Air Squadron insignia and warplane buttons. Now, you know all about the first set of Kellogg's Pep buttons because I've been telling you about them for weeks. But now, there's an even smarter-looking second series. Sure, there are 22 new ones in the set, all entirely different from the first 22. Take the 48th Bomber Squadron, for instance. A smashing red fist with wings against a brilliant yellow and blue background, backed by the gleaming white enamel of the sturdy metal button. What a prize to open the eyes of the rest of the fellows. And just think of it, gang. There's one of these keen prizes for you in every package of that super delicious toasted whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Why, these buttons have so many bright colored designs, it's hard to tell which one you like best. Now, look in the bottom of the Pep package, between the carton and the inner wax bag, for your Pep Air Squadron insignia or warplane button. Ask Mom today to get plenty of Pep. Eat your share every morning, and remember the name, P-E-P, Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, the adventures of Superman. While covering a great flood for the Daily Planet, Lois Lane became the prisoner of 6 escaped convicts who had taken over a tiny village in the flood area. Learning that the convicts planned to destroy all the remaining inhabitants, she enlisted the aid of a boy named Jerry Farber to warn the people in time for them to hide in an ancient mine shaft. Meanwhile, under cover of darkness, Jerry plunged into the rushing river on his pony in a desperate attempt to get help and was near drowning when Superman, who was searching for Lois, rescued him and carried him to a doctor's home in a nearby town. As we continue now, Jerry has been wrapped in blankets and given artificial respiration, while Superman waits anxiously for him to regain consciousness. Listen.
You're sure he'll be all right, Doctor?
Oh, quite sure, Superman.
Oh, thank heaven.
He seems to have had a rough time of it, but he's a sturdy little chap, and as soon as the stimulant I gave him takes effect, He should come to.
I hope so, for his own sake. Because he knows where Miss Lane is.
Who?
Lois Lane. She's a fellow reporter. She's a reporter on the Metropolis Daily Planet.
Yes, I heard about her on the radio. She lost her life while trying to rescue some people in the flood, didn't she?
So it was reported. But I'm pretty certain she's alive, Doctor. And that those 6 convicts who escaped from the state penitentiary during the flood are alive, too. My hunch is that Miss Lane is with them.
Well, that's impossible, Superman. The convicts were seen in a small motorboat a couple of days ago just above Mammoth Falls. The big dam has been washed out, and only a miracle could have prevented them from being carried over the falls.
Well, that's just another report. Personally, Uh-oh. Boy's coming, too.
Well, let's have a look at him. Mm-hmm. Pulse is almost normal.
Oh, good.
Here you are, son. Here, drink this. That's a good boy.
Doctor, will it be safe to question him?
Oh, yes. Just give him a moment or two to come out.
He's crazy, Mikey. You've got... That's a good little pony.
He thinks he's still in the water on his pony.
Yes, it's still a trifle delirious. Now, easy, son. Take it easy now.
He's got to swim.
No. You're all right, son. It's all over.
Just relax, boy. Just relax.
The current. We're going to drown.
Oh, you're not. It's all right. You're safe now.
We're not in the river.
No.
In the bed.
Yes, now just take it easy. Easy, boy. Just lie back quietly now.
Where?
I'm Dr. Holmes, son. You're in my house. The Superman rescued you.
Who?
I did. You all right now?
For jumping, Jupiter. Are you really Superman?
That's right. What's your name?
Jerry Barber. Where's Blackie? My pony.
He's all right, too.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he's eating the grass in my yard this very minute. And welcome he is to it.
Oh, it's the young Blackie. But I almost forgot. My brother Marty, and Miss Lane, and everyone in the village. Hey.
Miss Lane? Then she is alive.
Yeah, sure. She's the one who told me what was going to happen.
Now, wait a minute. Slow down, Jerry. Tell me just what happened so I can help.
Oh, gosh, you sure can. Only you can. If it's not too late, I mean. If they didn't find him in the shaft already and...
Easy now. Wait, who are they? And what's this about a shaft?
The old mine shaft, where everyone left in the village is hiding. You see, when Miss Lane told me the convicts were going to put everyone on a raft and send them over Mammoth Falls...
The convicts? Why, this is incredible.
Just a moment, please, Doctor. I'm beginning to get the drift of this. Go on, Jerry.
Okay. The convicts came to our village with Miss Lane.
Yes.
Now they want to get rid of everyone left in the village. So when the flood waters go down, nobody will be able to tell the police that First Page Harry and the others are still alive.
See, where is this village? What's the name of it?
Hilltop. Oh, gosh, Superman, if you can only get there in time.
Hilltop, eh? Just where is it?
It's a small village on top of a tall hill about 2 miles this side of Mammoth Falls.
Good. I'll find it.
Look, can't you take me with you, Superman?
No, you stay here, Jerry. I'll be back to see you later.
Good luck. So long.
Thanks. See you soon. Now, for Hilltop. Up and away! About 2 miles this side of Mammoth Falls, he said, on a high hill. I've got to find it. Got to stop those convicts before they... Wait a minute. That must be Hilltop below. But where is everybody? I don't see Lois or anyone else. No, this village is deserted. Can't understand it. Where could they... Oh, far ahead in the river. Those broken pilings at the head of the falls. Great Scott, the raft full of people. Wedged in the pilings. It's working loose now. Starting over the falls. Got to grab that raft before it goes over. Ahoy!
Raining down from the skies like some gigantic eagle. Superman seizes the huge raft crowded with shouting, milling people, just as it is starting over the roaring 300-foot waterfall of positive destruction in the great black rocks below. Grasping it in his powerful hands, he gets set for a leap, then... Up! And away! The man of steel rockets up from the wild, tumbling water and sets the raft and its precious human cargo on the dark shore high above Mammoth Falls. A few moments later, freeing himself from the excited, grateful people, he speaks with the weary, haggard war veteran, Martin Farber, elder brother of Jerry.
Tell me, are all these people from Hilltop, Marty?
That's right, Superman. The convicts found them hiding in the old mine shaft. Made us get on the raft.
How long ago was this?
2, maybe 3 hours ago. Then they cut us loose, and the current caught us and started us for Mammoth Falls.
Miracle you stayed afloat so long.
Yeah. Luckily, we got wedged in those pilings. This is all that's left of the big dam. We held on with our hands as long as we could. We didn't have any rope. The current is strong. Oh, if you hadn't showed up just when you did, we'd all be on the rocks at the bottom of the falls now.
Glad I could help. Tell me, where's Miss Lane and the convicts?
I don't know. They were in Hilltop when they cut our rafts loose.
They're not there now.
They're not?
No, the village is deserted.
Holy smoke. I'll bet I know what they did.
What? Tell me quickly.
Well, First Page Harry, he's the leader of the convicts, said if nobody was found in Hilltop, the police would think that he and the convicts and all the villagers were drowned.
See.
First, he planned to wait till the floodwaters went down, and then leave in a car. But then when that cutter came along, he
Wait a minute. What's this cutter you're talking about?
A Red Cross motor cutter that put in at Hilltop.
Oh?
It's powered with a big diesel engine, but a floating tree had put its rudder out of commission, and it had run out of fuel fighting the current. An Army bomber told us on the walkie-talkie radio to be on the lookout for it because it was being carried toward Mammoth Falls.
How did it manage to come ashore in Hilltop?
The convicts threw it a line and pulled it ashore. Then they pulled guns on the three-man crew and made them repair the rudder and fill the fuel tank. There was plenty of fuel in Hilltop.
Oh, that's it. Convicts got away in the cutter after thinking they got rid of all the villagers on the raft. First Page Harry must have been panicked when he figured there was a chance that your brother Jerry would live to reveal what was going on in Hilltop.
It could be. But I think they stuck their necks out too far.
Why?
That's a powerful diesel on the cutter, which could buck the river. But it's night and...
Oh, they're desperate men, Marty. They take long chances. They must have taken Miss Lane with them. Or...
For what?
I don't dare think what might have happened. Look, Marty. There's a refugee camp up that road. Take these Hilltop folks there and get them some food and dry clothes. Tell the authorities to put out an alarm for that Red Cross cutter. I'm going to find Miss Lane. So long, Marty. I'll be seeing you. Up! I'm away!
Leaping from the high shore, Superman again takes to the dark skyways, deeply concerned about Lois Lane. What has happened to the girl reporter? Did First Page Harry make good his murderous threat? We'll return in a moment to find out. But first, let's stand by for a word from our good friend.
You know, it's no secret, Pep Gang, that fellows everywhere are having a wonderful time collecting the Army, Navy, and Marine Air Squadron insignia that come in every Kellogg's Pep package as a prize for you. Yes, sirree, they'll certainly see you coming down the street if you're wearing your set of Kellogg's Pep buttons. Now, you've probably collected all 22 in the first set of buttons, but here's a brand new second set. Sure, 22 of them in 4 bright colors, each different from those in the first set. 8 Army Air Squadron insignia, 7 Navy Air Squadron insignia, 3 Marine Air Squadron insignia, and 4 warplanes. Why, you'll be the envy of every kid in the block when you have your cap or jacket or shirt covered with those flashy insignia lacquered on real metal buttons. But you can't buy them anywhere. No, sir. Gang, they come only in packages of Kellogg's Pep. So be sure to ask Mom to get a good supply of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal today. The more she gets now, the more buttons you'll get now to trade with the rest of the gang. And you'll get a real kick out of finding one of those knockout Air Squadron insignia or warplane buttons in the bottom of the Kellogg's Pep package in between the carton and the inner wax bag. So eat lots of Pep every day, gang. Just spell it P-E-P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now back to the adventures of Superman. As Superman began his search for the Red Cross motor cutter and Lois Lane, the cutter itself, powerful diesel motor throbbing, has fought through the floodwaters and is approaching the almost inundated levees of a large river city whose lights gleam through the dark night. Behind the 2 crewmen in the bow of the cutter stands one of the convicts, a submachine gun cradled in his arms. Another armed convict guards Lois Lane and the 3rd crewman in the stern. In the center of the boat, the blond, wiry First Page Harry Doak, leader of the convicts, issues tense orders.
All right, now get this, you guys. The pilot here says this town has to open the upstream floodgate to let us in. Now, they won't want to on account of the floodwaters. So I'll tell them to drop us a ladder on the levee and pull us out. You get me?
Of course, they won't do it, First Page.
You leave that to me. All right, now, all you guys, come here.
No, not you crew guys. You stay on the job. But remember, we're watching you.
What now, First Page? Listen, as soon as we get the ladder, you give it to these crew guys at the butt of your gun, see? Yeah. Then dump them overboard without making a lot of noise. Yeah. The current will carry them away and the darkness will cover up what you're doing. How about the plane? I'll take care of her myself. As soon as we get the ladder. First, I gotta make sure we don't need her to talk to the guys at the gate. She could make with the Red Cross, see?
Yeah, how about when we get up on the levee?
See, that's to me, too. Have your guns handy.
Ahoy! Pack your places, quick. Now, nobody opens the trap except me, see? You get it.
This is a Red Cross cutter. We got injured people aboard. Can you help us in?
Slow the motor.
Can't open the gate because of the flood. You'll have to maneuver in and throw us a line. Then we'll drop you a ladder.
Okay, we're coming in.
Take the boat up close at a levee pilot. You guys, as soon as they drop the ladder, you know what to do. Let's go. Powerful motor started. Red Cross cutter edges into the floodgates as the convicts slip to positions behind the crew members of lowest range. Another moment and the desperate convict will strike. With Superman far away, can anything save Lois and the Red Cross men now? Don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls. Tune in, same time, same station, and thrill to The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise shift. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. As roaring rockets blast off the distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Corbett, Space Cadet. Three times in the past 14 years, a mysterious form of death striking from space has claimed the lives of solar guardsmen while on Comet Watch patrol in Sector 7. Now, as Captain Powers, the fourth victim of this strange malady, clings to life by a tenuous thread, Captain Strong and Dr. Joan Dale of Space Academy make a startling discovery.
There's no question about it, Joan. We can't brush off this medical report. Captain Powers shows every symptom of acute radiation sickness. Well, he's been exposed to intense gamma radiation.
But, Steve, now the question is, where did the radiation come from?
We've only one possible clue to that, Joan. The last thing Captain Powers saw before he collapsed was a strange asteroid that seemed to be giving off sparks.
Well, that could have been his imagination. He was a very sick man.
His little son, Jody, who was with him at the time, saw the same thing.
Yes, but Jody's just a child with a big imagination. How can you take his word for it?
That's true, Joan. And I would feel the same way you do, but when my boys on the Polaris took over the Comet Watch in Sector 7, they saw it too. No, there can't be any doubt about it, Joan. That strange asteroid that seems to give off sparks is an asteroid of death, and it must be destroyed.
Well, Roger, I just checked the whole ship. And she's all set to go as soon as the skipper comes round.
Yeah, well, I'm not set. Hey, what are you burning your reactors about? How does that dumb Venusian Astro rate getting out of this mission?
Don't ask me, Roger. I don't plot the course in this academy.
Astro falls behind in his grades. He gets a chance to dope off, while we have to go back to Sector 7 and look for an asteroid that gives off sparks. Happy 4th of July.
Who do you think you're kidding, Roger? You're just heating your tubes because you missed the kid, Jody Powers.
Me miss him? What do I look like, a nursemaid? That's all I need, a kid around me. Tagging after me all the time, being a pest. I had all I could take of him on the trip back from Comet Watch. Why, I'm glad they sent him home with his aunt.
Go on, Roger, I'm listening. Tell me more.
Oh, go blow your jets. So what if I do miss him? He was a cute little...
Hey, Philip, there's the airlock signal now. The skipper's coming aboard.
If I'd only had a chance to see Jody before he went away, I wouldn't mind so much. He probably thinks I forgot all about him.
All right, boys. Everything ready for blast-off?
Yes, Captain Strong. The ship's been checked from stem to stern.
Good. Dr. Dale is coming along. She's below now, setting up some special equipment. She'll fill in on the radar bridge while you take over on the power deck, Manning.
Aye, aye, sir.
All right, now, take your stations. We blast off immediately. Control deck to radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge, aye.
What's our position, Joan?
Crossing Mars orbit. Should reach destination shortly.
All right. Patch in your scanner down here and join us on the control deck.
Right, Steve.
Corbett, tell Manning to come up here, too.
All right, sir. Control deck to power deck.
Power deck, aye.
Cut space speed 1/4, Roger, and report up here.
It's about time. This chicken coop is driving me space happy.
Your friend Manning seems to have a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, not really, sir. He misses Jody Powers.
What? Well, that's a great combination. Roger Manning and little Jody.
Well, I can't understand it either, sir. Astro and I made a big fuss over Jody when we had him on Comet Watch, but he ignored us. Roger brushed him off, and the kid followed him around like a little puppy. They became great pals.
Radar bridge is secure, Steve.
Oh, good. Well, Joan, say, you look a little tired.
No, not tired. Just a little nervous.
Cap Manning reporting.
Stand easy, Manning. I just want to get everything organized. We're nearing our goal. I don't know whether we're going to find that meteor, but we're going to comb every inch of space in this orbit. I'm setting up a continuous heel and toe watch. Everyone will be in for long stretches of duty.
Sir, you really think that floating spark plug was the cause of Captain Powers' illness?
I'm positive, but we still have to prove it. Now, any questions?
No, sir.
All right, Dr. Dale and I will take the first watch. You two are relieved for the next 2 hours.
Aye, sir.
Now, come on, Roger. Let's hit the sack.
Oh, brother, that bunk looks awfully good to me. Call me at noon, Manning, and draw me a hot tub when I get up. Don't worry, pal. According to the skipper, this tub will be plenty hot when we get near that asteroid.
You better sack in, Roger. You're going to be glued to that scanner for hours.
Who's tired? I think this is a wild goose chase anyway. That blasted meteor isn't hanging around just for us to come back and take a pot shot at it.
Well, the only thing we can do is try.
Hey, who was in my locker? I thought I told you to keep out of it, Tom.
What are you blasting about? I wasn't even near it.
No, then why's the door open? If you've messed things up, Hey, jumping Jupiter. Tom, come here, quick.
What is it, Roger?
Look, we've got a stowaway aboard.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, how would you like to have a cutout collection showing pictures of all your favorite Space Cadets? Well, that collection is waiting for you right now down at the grocery store. On the back of every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep, you'll find an exciting picture cutout of one of your favorite Space Cadets. There's a picture of Astro, Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Dr. Joan Dale. You want to have the whole set, so don't waste any time starting. Get a regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep just as soon as you can. See these exciting full-length pictures. They're not just drawings, you know. Each cutout is an actual picture, and each cutout shows one of the Space Cadets in his official Space Cadet uniform. Now, the pictures are swell for cutting out, framing, and hanging on the wall. Or you can paste them in a Space Cadet scrapbook. There are loads of things you can do with Space Cadet cutouts, so don't wait another day. Go to your favorite grocery store and get a regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep. Right on the back of the package, you'll see the Space Cadet cutout. But remember now, to get your picture cutout, just be sure you get the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
As Captain Strong, Dr. Dale, and the crew of the Polaris rocket through space in a desperate search for the strange asteroid that has caused the deaths of 3 Solar Guard officers, Tom and Roger discover a stowaway aboard ship. Now, on the control deck, Captain Strong watches Dr. Dale anxiously.
What's the matter, Joan? You've been sitting in that chair watching that scanner without saying a word. Now, what's on your mind?
A lot of things, Steve. Especially that asteroid. I just don't know what to make of it. If it really is the cause of the trouble, it must be radioactive.
Well, that's no problem. We'll find it and destroy it.
Well, it isn't as simple as all that, Steve. For one thing, it's dangerous. But that isn't what's bothering me. Just what is this asteroid, and what makes it so different?
Captain Strong. Well, up so soon, Corbett?
Well, we couldn't sleep, sir. We have a little problem.
Well, one more problem shouldn't make any difference. What's yours?
Well, this one came up rather unexpectedly, sir.
Well, out with it.
Sir, we have a stowaway.
A stowaway?
Yes, sir. Bring him in, Roger.
Okay, Tom.
Here he is, sir.
Jody Powers.
Great galaxy, where did you find it?
In my locker, sir, fast asleep. He's been there all the time.
Well, that's just fine. Jody, you put us in a bad spot. Why did you do it?
I don't know, sir. I just didn't want to go home. I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
Well, this sure throws a monkey wrench into our plans.
Why, sir? He's no trouble. I'll see to it that he keeps out of the way.
This isn't a pleasure cruise, Manning. We have work to do. Dangerous work, and we can't be worrying about a child. Well, I'll have to notify the Academy. They'll order us back for sure.
Can't we just forget about notifying the Academy, sir?
Absolutely not. We can't take the chance. Jody must be taken back.
See, the space is warning.
Switch on the scanner, quick.
Pretty good-sized blitz, sir.
Corbett, pick this up on a magnascope.
Aye, sir. There it is, sir.
It isn't too clear. Can you get it sharper, Corbett?
Raise it to maximum magnipower.
Something. Saturn, look, sir.
Well, we can forget about taking Jody back now. He's in this with the rest of us.
Sparkling asteroid.
No doubt about it, sir. There's our space firecracker. Once you've seen it, you can't forget it. What a lucky break. That floating spark plug must have been out looking for it.
So now the question is, what are we going to do about Jody?
Oh, don't worry, sir. I'll take care of him.
We'll need every hand on deck. Take him into the bunk room and see that he stays there.
Yes, sir. Come on, Jody.
I hope you're not mad at me, Roger.
Of course not, Jody. I'm glad to have you aboard.
Well, Joan, what do you make of the asteroid?
I don't know, Steve. I've never seen anything like it. We'll have to move in much closer before I'll know what it's all about.
Jody secure, sir. We promised to stay in there.
Thanks, Manning. All right, cadets. We'll get as close to the meteor as we can. Dr. Dale will watch for any increase of radioactivity in the ship so that you can prepare for it. But break out your spacesuits and have them ready.
Why, sir? Are we going outside the ship?
Who knows? We don't know what we're up against, so we'll be prepared for anything. But one more thing. I don't want any unnecessary chances. Just try and remember how Captain Powers looked when we found him. Now, take your stations. Manning, below. Corbett, radar bridge.
Aye, sir. Right, Captain.
All right, I'm ready, Steve. Move in as slowly as you can while I take my readings.
Right, Joan. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Power deck, aye.
We're going to swing into a parallel orbit with the asteroid. Then 1/2 space speed until we're abreast of it.
Aye, sir.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge, aye.
Set course for parallel orbit. And don't make it too tight.
Right, sir.
I don't understand it, Steve. These gauges have hardly moved. At this distance, there isn't enough radioactivity to hurt a flea.
You'll be in closer soon, Joan. You'll get all the radioactivity you're looking for then.
We're at asteroid civil, sir. Ready to swing into parallel orbit. 10 degrees right, touch at 5.6 will do it.
Got it, Corbett. Manning, steering vane set. Give us a short blast.
Here it comes, sir. Firing short blast.
Good. All right, Corbett. Keep our orbits locked until further notice.
Hey, Captain Strong. I think this is all a false alarm. I don't feel a thing.
Maybe it's because you're so thick-skinned, Manning. Just follow orders and keep your opinions to yourself.
Aye, aye, sir.
Steve, I don't understand this. We're much closer now, and still all I get is just a slight increase in gamma ray activity. Nothing like what I expected to find.
What do you make of it?
Well, if this is all the radiation we're going to get from that asteroid, we'll have to find another reason for Captain Powers' illness.
Well, then we're right back where we started from. We may as well give up and head back to work.
Wait, Steve, there's another thing I don't understand. Those flashes on the surface, those sparks. I keep wondering about the composition of that asteroid.
Oh, well, there's only one way to find out. I'll go over and get a piece of it. That'll answer all your questions.
I hope it will, Steve, but I still can't help feeling there's something terribly wrong.
Come now, Joan. I'll hop over there in the jet boat and get your sample. You can take it back to your laboratory and examine it. Hello, Corbett.
Right, sir.
Take over on the control deck with Dr. Dale. I'm going over to the asteroid with Roger.
Right, sir.
Steve, promise me you'll be careful.
Oh, but, Joan, there's nothing to worry about. You said there wasn't enough radiation to harm a flea.
I know, but something about that asteroid rings a warning bell in my mind. I just don't know what it is, and I just can't help feeling there's danger out there. Terrible danger.
the jet boat wide open, sir. We ought to reach the asteroid in 5 minutes.
And we'll circle it first. Make sure it's safe to land.
The thing looks harmless enough.
Yes, but I wish I knew what causes that sparkling effect. Take that, will you, Manning?
Aye, sir. Manning here.
Manning, this is Dr. Neal. Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine, ma'am. It's a little quiet out here. Not much traffic.
Well, keep calling in regularly, please.
Let me talk to her, Manning. Hello, Joan.
Yes, Dean.
I stopped worrying. Everything's under control. Well, there's not a thing to worry about.
The jet boat is circling the asteroid, Dr. Dale. Everything looks okay.
Call them again, Tom.
Oh, ma'am, we just spoke to them a couple of minutes ago.
I know, but I'll feel better if we maintain contact.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, jet boat. Come in.
What do you want now, Junior? Why'd you stop bothering us?
Just checking, Roger. Hey, can you clear up your transmission? We're getting a lot of noise.
What'd you say?
A lot of interference. Keep that channel open, Corbett. Maintain radio contact.
Roger. Can you hear me? Roger. Dr. Dale, I've lost them. It's impossible to get through that interference.
Come in, Polaris. Tom, come in. No use, Captain Strong. We can't get through that static.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're almost ready to land on the asteroid anyway. Ships are heading 2 degrees down, and we'll hit the bullseye.
No use, ma'am. I can't get through to the jet boat. That hatch is too heavy.
And they're getting closer to the asteroid every second.
Jody.
Oh, you poor child. We forgot all about you.
It's awful lonesome in there. Can I stay here with you?
Of course you may, Jody.
Where's Roger? He said he'd be back this evening.
Jody, if you look through that viewport, you can see Roger and Captain Strong in that jet boat.
Right there, Jody. See them?
Jumping Jupiter.
What's the matter?
That's the same asteroid I was watching with Dad before he got sick.
How do you know, Jody?
So fucked. I told Dad they reminded me of a bunch of lightning bugs.
Hey, we never thought of questioning Jody before, and he was an eyewitness all the time. Jody, do you remember anything else?
Well, I went to bed, and Dad kept watching me. He came in later, and he was very excited. He told me I missed a wonderful show. There was a big explosion on the asteroid.
An explosion?
Yes. Then he went back to watch it some more. Next morning, he was very sick.
An explosion that caused Captain Power's radiation sickness. That could only be an atomic... Yes, of course, that's the answer. Tom, we've got to get them back right away.
But why, Dr. Dale?
I haven't time to go into details. That asteroid is made of contraterrene matter.
Contraterrene? What's that?
Listen carefully and try to understand. All substance in space bears a positive electronic charge. Occasionally, we need a free piece of matter which is negatively charged. That kind of substance is contraterrene.
Great galaxy, I'm beginning to get it. If positive matter touches negative matter, an atomic explosion.
Yes, every spark you see out there is a minute particle of space debris hitting that contraterrene asteroid. And if that jet boat ever touches the asteroid, Captain Strong and Roger will be blown to bits.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spacemen, stand by for an important message from Tom Corbett. Before Tom started out on his latest mission, he made a special teleceiver recording of some things he wanted to tell all spacemen about Kellogg's Pep. So, take it away, message control.
Cadet Corbett speaking. I just want to tell you all how important it is to eat Kellogg's Pep. First of all, when you eat Kellogg's Pep for breakfast, you don't have to worry about getting enough vitamin D. There's a whole day's supply in every serving of Kellogg's Pep. And besides vitamin D, you get vitamin B1. And you know that's essential. And because Kellogg's Pep is whole wheat, you get many other necessary food values that help you build strong bones and muscles. When you put all that together, it means Pep gives you more build-up food values than any other wheat flake. And just to top it off, Pep rates #1 for flavor in mess halls all over the solar system, as well as right here at Space Academy. So take a tip from me, spacemen. Start your day with Kellogg's Pep.
Hear that, spacemen? And it's just like Tom Corbett says, for vitamin D and vitamin B1.
For build-up food values and for that whole wheat and malt flavor, get Kellogg's Pep. And remember, there's an exciting Space Cadet picture cutout right on the back of every package of the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
As Captain Strong and Roger Manning near the mysterious sparkling asteroid in a jet boat, Dr. Dale, waiting aboard the Polaris, fearfully watches their approach, realizing that as they rocket toward it, they are hurtling towards their doom.
If that jet boat ever touches the asteroid, Captain Strong and Manning will be nothing but radioactive dust.
Well, they're almost there, Dr. Dale.
Tom, try reaching them again. You've got to contact them.
Manning. Captain Strong. Come in, Manning. Oh, it's no use, Dr. Dale. We're not getting through.
But we must.
There's only one chance, Dr. Dale. If I can intercept them with a Polaris.
What?
I'll try to guide the ship between them and the asteroid before they reach it.
Tom, can you do it? It'll be like threading a needle.
Well, here's where Corbett becomes a space seamstress. Fasten Jody down, Dr. Dale, and hold tight.
Closing in on the asteroid, sir. We're no more than 5 miles away. At 10,000 feet, cut your relative speed down to 10 foot-seconds. From there, we'll brake by eye. Now that I've got a close look, I think we've been cruising in the wrong orbit. That asteroid looks pretty harmless to me. I wouldn't be surprised. Have you been able to raise the Polaris? No, sir. Too much static. Say, wait a minute, Skipper. Doesn't that look as if the Polaris is coming toward us? That's just an illusion, Roger. Movement and distance are very deceptive in space. They have no reason to be moving toward us. Keep going.
Faster, Tom, faster. They're getting dangerously close to that asteroid.
We're at full space speed now, ma'am.
Tom, you'll never make it. There isn't room. We'll either hit the jet boat or the asteroid and we'll all be blown up.
We can't stop now, Dr. Dale. We've got to go through with it. Stand by to cut the motor, Roger. We'll drift in. All right. Cut it. Right, sir. Captain Strong, look. Look over there. The Polaris is bearing down on us. What in blazes is Corbett trying to do? Run us down? Full power, Manning. Get out of their way. Swing around. Okay, sir. Keep your fingers crossed. Jupiter. I never thought I'd see the inside of the Polaris again.
Oh, Steve, it was so close, but Tom had to do it.
Yeah, but have you any idea what it looks like to have a mountain of steel bearing down on you? We were very lucky, all of us.
And it was little Jody who gave us the clue that made me realize our asteroid of death was Contra Terrene.
Well, where do we go from here, Dr. Dale? What do we do about it?
Now that we know the asteroid is made up of negative matter, it'll be a simple thing to destroy it. By pushing an equal amount of positive matter against it, will blow itself up.
Good idea, John. You know, Roger, I never thought I'd be so glad to see that ugly face of yours again. Yeah, it'll take more than a Contra Terrene asteroid to get rid of me. And by the way, where'd you ever learn to pilot a spaceship?
Roger, are you all right?
Oh, sure thing, Jody. Nothing can KO your Uncle Roger. Uncle? Oh, brother.
And there's the real hero. If anyone deserves the Spaceman Medal of Honor, it's our little Stowaway.
He certainly does. Cadet Jody Powers? Attention.
Yes, sir.
The crew of the Polaris salutes you.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris is given a 10-day leave, and the trip to Venus becomes a holiday of terror. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Edward Bryce, Margaret Garland, and Sarah Fussell. Today's program was written by Jack Weinstock and Willie Gilbert, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program has come to you from you.
You are lost in a London fog, uncertain whether the figures looming around you are real or creatures of your imagination. And somewhere in the wet grayness lurks a murderer from whom you must escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully contrived to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight, we escape to a fog-shrouded city and the terror of a shell-shocked mind, as Algernon Blackwood describes them in his ghostly story, Confession.
There was no doubt about it. The woman was dead. Her cheek was cold to my touch. The head of the long, sharp hat pin protruded from her breast above the heart. She was dead. Murdered. And I stood there by the bed, my brain whirling crazily. I was alone in an empty house with a murdered woman. And then suddenly fear flashed across my brain and cleared it. I heard the door below open and close. Footsteps. Someone was coming across the downstairs hall, onto the stairs, coming up here. In a moment I would be discovered. In a moment someone would walk into this room and see me standing over the body. In a moment my escape would be cut off. Quickly I slipped across the hall and into another of the empty bedrooms. I leaned against the closed door, breathing heavily, listening to those steps come closer. Would he look into any of the other bedrooms first? Would I be discovered here? He passed my door and went into the room, straight in, closed the door behind him. Then he knew where to come. I waited a moment, waited for some sound, some gasp of discovery. There was none. Then he knew what to expect. I must escape quickly before he came out of that room. I started down the stairs, carefully, to avoid any sound. And suddenly the door of that room opened. The beam of the flashlight searched down the hall. I took the stairs three at a time, burst open the front door, and fled into the street, fled into the sanctuary of the fog. How long and how far I ran, I do not know. I could see nothing, feel nothing but the clammy dampness of the fog. I don't know whether he was still following me or not. I ran out of sheer terror, up one street, down another, with no idea of where I was or where I was going. Perhaps I was running in circles. Perhaps I would run right back to the house. Well, I stopped. I leaned heavily against the wall. My hands were shaking as I raised them to my perspiring face. I held them there to steady them, ran them through my wet hair. My hat. I didn't have it. I'd left my hat back there in that room, on the bed beside that dead woman. And it had my initials in it. Nearby, a street lamp formed a fuzzy ball of yellow in the enveloping murk. And now a figure loomed suddenly beneath it, just as she had materialized so short a time ago under another streetlight. Or was it the same one? Was it she again? Was it he, the one who was following me? Was it real at all? Perhaps it was only a creature of my madness.
I guess, you're ill. Oh, hero, let me help you. Why, you're almost ready to fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Here, just lean on my arm.
Yes. You are real, aren't you?
Real? I don't understand. I say, you're very near collapse, you know. And I happen to be a doctor. Luckily, too, you're just outside my very house. Come in for a moment, won't you?
Why, you're very kind. Yes, I will, if it's not too much trouble for you.
None at all, my dear chap. Please do.
Within 5 minutes, I was seated in a comfortable chair before a toasting fire, sipping a hot cup of tea. I could feel my nerves relaxing, but the traces of my illness must have been clear on my face, because my host observed.
Your trouble is shell shock, isn't it?
Why, yes, how did you know?
I've been in the service, and I'm a doctor.
Oh, of course, I only meant I'm supposed to be recovered, or almost. But I got lost in the fog, felt ill suddenly. Terrified, you know.
I know. You should never have been out on a night like this. If you've got far to go, you'd better let me put you out.
You're very kind indeed, but I don't want to be in any trouble.
Oh, no trouble at all. I'd like to be of help. It's the least we veterans can do for each other. Oh, the blasted war. Thank goodness it's over. You're not English, are you?
No, Canadian. I haven't been demobilized yet. I'm still in the Army Hospital at Regent's Park under the care of Dr. Henry.
Ah, yes. Very good man. I'd say he's done well by you. Up till tonight, I mean.
Yes. Of course, we had no idea there would be a fog. I still get in a panic when I feel all alone.
Well, that's usual, but then there was something more than that tonight, wasn't there?
What do you mean?
Simply that you've had rather a severe shock quite recently, haven't you?
How did you know that?
My dear chap, I'm a doctor. My business to know. You were in much too agitated a state when I found you for me to suppose it could have been done simply by the fog. And, if I may hazard another guess, I should say it would be a relief to you and wise as well if you could unburden yourself to someone who would understand. Am I not right?
Someone who would understand. That's just it. I doubt if there is anyone like that. It's so incredible.
Oh, the more incredible, the greater your need to tell it. Repression in cases like yours can be dangerous, as you must know. You think you've hidden it, but it bides its time and it comes up later causing a lot of trouble. Confession, you know. Confession is good for the soul.
Yes, I suppose you are right. But it is so wildly unbelievable.
Since we're strangers, my belief or disbelief can make no difference. And I think I can promise you in advance that I shall believe all you have to say.
Well, but I've got to tell somebody about it soon anyway.
Cigarette to help with telling?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'd better start back at the very beginning of the adventure, then. It started today at the sanitarium. I've been there for some months, and today, when Dr. Henry called to check on me, I knew...
Well, young man, you're as fit as a prize heifer and twice as frisky. The diet here must agree with you.
I have no complaints, Doctor, but if I'm well again, then I'd like to get back into circulation.
Will you listen to him, nurse, rushing things as usual? You'd think he didn't like us here.
The way he bothers us to let him go into town, I'm sure of it, Doctor. He's getting so healthy, he's bursting at the seams.
There, you see? How about it, Doctor? Can't I just have a day or an evening in town?
What's the great attraction in that dirty place? Some girl, no doubt?
Well, yes, that is in a way. I met her in France. She's a Red Cross girl. She's invited me to stop in for tea if I'm up in London, and, well, it's just that I'd feel human again, seeing a girl having tea, a cigarette, chatting. That's all.
Young man, I not only approve of your day in town, I'm prescribing it. It'll do you good. You've got to start getting used to society again anyway.
And you think I can manage it alone?
Why not? You get around the neighborhood by yourself well enough, don't you? Nothing so very different about London. Certainly nothing to be afraid of.
No, of course not.
Call the young lady and find out the directions, where to get off the underground, what turns to take, and so on. Go in the daytime, return before dark. No danger of getting lost. Should be simple. Nothing to it. Do you good.
Then this means I'm getting better. I'll be able to go home soon?
There you go. Rushing things again. But yes, I think perhaps we're on the last leg. Oh, that'll be all, nurse.
Yes, Dr. Henry.
Now, tell me, young man, what about your friends?
No, Doctor. I think they've deserted me. I don't see them anymore. No more ghosts. No more dead comrades stopping in for a chat.
Good. For how long now?
Oh, several weeks at least. I can hardly remember when I last saw one.
Thought you saw.
Yes, thought. Of course, in the dark room at night, sometimes the shadows...
That's not quite the same thing. Lots of well people fancy they see the shadows move at night, especially after they've been reading some penny dreadful.
Yes, I suppose so.
At any rate, you can distinguish between the real people and the unreal now, and that's a big step, considering how you were a few months ago.
Well, it's only when I feel completely alone, cut off, that the old panic begins a little, but not as much as before.
Many people don't like to feel alone and cut off, but they can fight down that panicky feeling, nip it in the bud. And so will you in time. But I must warn you, a severe shock could undo all our work. By all means, avoid shock.
Avoid shock, he said. Very funny, isn't it? But who could have known then what would happen? How could I have suspected as I went about planning my day in town, my holiday? I called the girl, arranged our tea party. I was to be at her little house in Morley Place at 4.
So you signed the first time. With your Canadian backwoods instinct, she'll probably manage it better than any Londoner.
Yes, I'm sure I will. It's near South Kensington Station, then.
Exactly. You change at Piccadilly Circus.
Yes.
Without leaving the underground station. And come to South Ken. That's 3 streets left from there. Then 2 right, 1 more left, and right again into Morley Place. It's really not far.
Oh, I'll find it, all right. Now, don't go to any great bother.
Oh, you just leave that to me. This is a special occasion, you know. Till 4, then.
Until 4. Yes. Thanks. And so it all started out as a cheerful adventure. And everything went well into the city. I made my change underground at Piccadilly, took the local to South Kensington Station. And there I came up at surface again. And when I walked out, I stepped into a solid, opaque blanket of white fog. I could hear the traffic, the rumble of the city around me. I could hear footsteps, an occasional muffled voice. But I could see almost nothing. This is how a blind man feels then. The only objects of relief from that dreadful enveloping gray wall were an occasional blur of yellow from a street lamp, or a motor car headlight, a glimmering patch from some big lighted shop window here and there, and the figures of other people passing by, dark and floating and indistinct. Or were they people? Might they not be those phantom figures again, just like the ones that haunted me before I went into the sanitarium? Ghostly, blurred figures of dead comrades from Dunkirk and Abbeville and the mud of Belgium. Here comes another one. I can hear his cane tapping. Look closely now, make sure. There. He looked real enough, didn't he? They are real, I'm positive of it, and I'm not alone. They're all around me. But even as I told myself this, the old panic was growing inside. Here now, old fellow, you've got to get hold of yourself. Next one comes along, speak up. Speak up to him. Ask him the way to Morley Place. Ask, can you put me on the trail to Morley Place? Just like that. You'll see. Here now. Here he comes. Ask the way. Beg pardon. Can you put me on...
I say, is this right for the tube station, do you know? I'm utterly lost. I want South Kensington.
Why, yes, I have just come from there. Straight along, I think.
Oh, thanks awfully.
Oh, but I say, can you put me on the trail to Morley Place? He's gone. Well, no matter, he was real enough. He spoke up like a real person, all right. Maybe the next... Oh, I say, I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm frightfully sorry. I didn't see you and you standing still.
I'm afraid I must be lost. Can you direct me to Morley, please?
Oh, dear, I think you've missed your turning. You'll have to double back a street and maybe two and take the first turn to the right and go one street and then double back two and then left again and you'll come to...
I say, thanks. That was first right and then... She's gone. Disappeared. Like a ghost. The panic was rising in me. They were real people, yes, but they appeared and disappeared so disconcertingly quickly. And when I turned off down the main street, there were fewer of them. I turned again and again. But I couldn't remember the directions. Suddenly, I knew I was lost. And now I was in some little backwater where passers-by were rare, where no one came, where I was alone. Now the panic swept over me. I stumbled on a curb. My cane swept empty air. I fell to the icy pavement. I was shaking so that I couldn't rise to my feet. I crawled across the open space of the street on my hands and knees. Only when I crossed the curb and felt a warm wall could I stand up again. And then I stood there, shaken and frantic. Morley Place must be very close, the little Red Cross girl waiting with her warm fire and hot tea. But where? Where? Suddenly, in the yellow blur of the nearest street lamp, a faint darkening of the fog caught my eye. It was not a figure this time. Only the shadow of the pole, grotesquely magnified. No, it moved. It came toward me. It was a figure, a woman. It came right up to me. Fear gripped me, and then I remembered the doctor's advice.
Don't ignore them. Treat them as real. Speak to them and go with them. You will soon prove their unreality then, and they will leave you.
And so I gripped the wall behind me and spoke to her. Lost your way like myself, haven't you, ma'am? Do you know where we are, Toll? Morley Place I'm looking for.
Where am I?
Well, I say you're more frightened than I am. May I help you?
I'm lost. I've lost myself. I can't find my way back.
Same here. I'm terrified of being alone, too. I've had shell shock, you know. Let's go together. We'll find our way together, eh?
Who are you?
Name's O'Reilly, a Canadian. I'm going to have tea with a friend in Morley Place. What's your address? Do you know the name of the street here?
I came out suddenly, unexpectedly. I can't find my way home again. Just when I was expecting him to...
I say, steady, ma'am.
He may be there now, waiting for me at this very moment, and I can't get back.
Have you any idea of the direction, ma'am? Any at all? We'll go together.
Listen. I hear him calling. I remember.
Wait, ma'am. Wait. Don't leave me here alone. I'm going with you. Wait. She was running fast through the fog. It was all I could do to keep up with her. But I felt I must not lose her or my own nerves would go to pieces. How she found her way in the fog, running so quickly, I didn't know, but I kept close on her heels, running hard. I could smell a faint perfume in the air, trailing behind her. A faintly familiar odor, but not pleasant. And then suddenly she stopped and turned into the gate, so suddenly that I almost bumped into her. Oh, is this in? You found it then? May I come in with you for a moment? Perhaps you'll let me telephone my doctor.
Doctor?
Yes, Dr. Henry at the Army Hospital. I'm in his care, you know.
My home is somewhere here. I'm near it. I must get back in time. For him. I must. He's coming to me.
I say, ma'am. But she turned and walked toward the house. For a moment I hesitated. This woman was acting very strangely. But no matter, she was at least real, and I needed help. Quickly, I followed her up the steps across the porch. The door was ajar. She slipped through, and I followed into the dark house. It was so dark inside, I couldn't see anything at first. I stopped, groping. But she went on quickly, easily, as if she knew the way. She was ignoring me completely. I heard her steps cross the hall, go up the stairs quickly. I waited and listened. She walked along the hall upstairs.
Where? Oh, where is it? I must find it.
And now the hair on my neck felt as if it were rising. Was she, after all, another of my figures? Was she unreal, too?
At last, I've found it. I'm home again.
I heard her open the door upstairs, go in and close it after her. Then there was silence, profound silence, and I was alone in a dark, unoccupied house. The white-covered furniture in the hallway loomed like ghosts, and there was no sound. I felt my panic coming back, but she was upstairs, and at least she was companionship. I groped my way up the stairs, along the upstairs hall. There was no sign of life.
Where are you? I want to help you. Which room are you in?
There was no answer. But as I put my hand on a table to steady myself, I felt something. It was a candle stump. With a gasp of relief, I took it up and lighted it. Now I could see a little. One by one, I tried the bedrooms. They were dusty and unused. The furniture covered, the mattresses rolled up on the beds. They were all alike. Until I opened the last door. Instantly, I knew this was it. I smelled the perfume. Only now I recognized it, understood why it was unpleasant to me. It was the smell of a hospital, of chloroform. And there was the woman. Her dark fur coat wrapped around her, her jewels just showing at the neck. And she was stretched out on the bed, motionless. Instantly, I knew she was dead. In the next instant, I thought I would go mad. The blood on her face was congealing. Her skin was cold. I knew then that she'd been dead for an hour at least, and that what I saw in the street was not real. This was the shock that Dr. Henry had warned me to avoid.
And what happened then?
Well, I heard the door open up downstairs. Someone came in. The one she'd been expecting, no doubt. And suddenly I realized the danger of my being found there beside a woman who had obviously been murdered. Well, I slipped into another bedroom, and when he went into that room with her, I slipped out and crept downstairs. I stumbled and he heard me, and I came out. I ran down and out into the fog, into the street and away. How long I ran or where, I don't know. When I was exhausted, I stopped. And then you came and found me. Well, what do you think? Tall tale, isn't it?
Yes. Strange, but not incredible. I see no reason to disbelieve anything you've told me. Things equally remarkable, equally incredible, happen every day in a big city. I know from personal experience. Oh, I could give you many instances.
But the woman, I saw her, and yet she was already dead.
Such things are hard to explain, perhaps cannot be explained, except, of course, your mind in its present state may still play tricks on you. Perhaps you saw a woman in the fog and followed her. You may have missed her and only thought you saw her go into that house.
But what about the dead woman? She was real enough.
Perhaps, perhaps not. She, too, may have been just fantasy. You may never have left the street.
No, I'm sure of that, at least. I must believe it. She was real, and the man who came up the stairs was real. If I didn't believe that, I think I should go mad.
Yes, perhaps that is important. Then, let me see. Have you any proof of what you saw? Something, perhaps, that you carried away with you?
None. But wait. I left something there. My hat. I left it on the bed beside her body. My initials were in it.
Ah?
And so if it was all real, I shall be getting a visit from the police one day soon.
Perhaps.
And then I'll know. And I'll be charged with murder.
I don't think so.
You think the police would believe this fantastic story?
As I told you, many strange things happen in a city like this. For instance, I knew of a similar case many years ago. Strangely similar case. Almost a coincidence. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I suppose so.
It happened during the last war. A colleague of mine, a surgeon now dead, married a charming girl, young and beautiful. He was wealthy, and they lived comfortably for many years. They seemed happy together. Then came the war, and he went overseas. His income was stopped, of course. The big house closed. His wife found life not so pleasant as before. And somehow she blamed her new hardships on him. You see, she was devoid of imagination, without any power for sacrifice. But she was still young and beautiful. The inevitable young man came along to console her. He was rich. They planned to go off somewhere. Only by chance, the husband came back from overseas suddenly. Just in the nick of time.
Well, he should have let her go. He was well rid of her, I'd say.
Well rid of her, yes. Only he decided to make the riddance final. He decided to kill her and her lover. You see, he loved her. He planned the time and place carefully. They met, he knew, in the big house, now closed. He waited for them there. The plan failed, however, in one important detail. She came at the appointed time, but without her lover. She found death waiting for her. Completely painless death. But the lover did not come. The door had been left open for him. The house was deserted, and it was a foggy night like tonight. But he did not come. Instead, a stranger came.
Hi. And where was the surgeon all this time?
Waiting outside, concealed in the fog. He saw the man go in, and he followed him to kill him. But the man was a stranger. He came in by chance, like you, to shelter from the fog.
I think that I should...
Why, what is the matter, sir?
Why, I really must be going.
Oh, of course, if you wish.
Thank you for your kindness and hospitality.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, young man. I enjoyed your story, although I confess I expected one a little different. Your coat.
Thank you.
I'll walk with you to the door and give you the directions. Ah, you're in luck. I think the fog's lifting a bit.
Doctor, may I ask, your friend, the surgeon, was he ever caught?
Ah, that's the part of the story I don't know. He was clever enough so that I doubt it. Unless he told somebody, made a confession.
I see.
And even so, unless that other person had some proof. Oh, by the way, you can't walk about in the fog without a hat. Here, it's an extra one of mine. You needn't trouble to return it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I went out of his consulting room with the hat on my head. In 10 minutes, I was at the tube station. It was only there that I permitted myself to take off the hat and look at it. It was my own. The hat I had left on the bed beside the dead woman.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you Confession by Algernon Blackwood, adapted for radio by John Dunkel, with Bill Conrad as O'Reilly, Ramsey Hill as the doctor, and Peggy Weber as the woman in the fog. Music was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week...
You were trapped in the dark maze of the native quarter of Mozambique. A dead man at your feet, the police closing in around you. And beside you is a girl with whom you must escape.
Next week, we escape with Percival Gibbons' fast-moving adventure, Second Class Passenger. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston, the hot whole wheat cereals, in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Visions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are flying over Crater Valley on Planet X when they sight Prince Baccarati's ship on the ground. Quickly landing, they see the prince struggling with a native and rush to the rescue.
Is Baccarati all right, sir? He's beating that old man. He's trying to drag him into a ship. Let's get him. All right, Baccarati, break it up. I'll get his ray gun, sir.
Let go of me, Corey.
Commander, the old man's unconscious. Baccarati knocked him out.
Getting pretty brave, aren't you, Baccarati, beating up an old man all by yourself?
Not quite by myself. Get them, Malengro. Use your paralyzer ray. No. You got both of them, Malengro. This is the last time Corey will meddle in the affairs of Planet X.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure under the sea of Planet X.
Hi, I'm a member of the Blue Demons Club here in Los Angeles, and this is Dick Beale.
Hiya.
Boy, there's lots of excitement around our club. All us Blue Demons are trying to win that big rocket ship clubhouse in the Name the Planet contest.
And the $1,500 that comes with it.
Yeah, what a prize. A huge rocket clubhouse on wheels and $1,500 cash. We Blue Demons have entered the contest 4 times already, so we're way ahead of some of the other clubs. And we're going to get lots more entries, but there's not much time.
Hey, come on, let's get down to the Weatherbird shoe store and pick up some more entry blanks.
Wait a minute, I want to tell the guys about the rocket clubhouse. What a giant. 10,000 pounds. 35 feet long. It's bigger than an airplane.
Wow, we and all our dads are going to take turns driving the big truck that pulls the rocket clubhouse. And take all us Blue Demons on camping and hiking trips.
And how about those 750 Schwinn varsity bikes being given away? Schwinn's the swellest bike ever. It's got 3-speed gear shift, so it goes like everything. And 2-wheel handbrakes, so it stops plenty fast.
Hey, come on, will you? We've got to get down to the Weatherbird shoe store.
Yeah, and you get more of those swell space coins. You get 3 space coins absolutely free and an album, too, when you get your Name the Planet contest entry blank from the Weatherbird shoe dealer. And there's another space coin in every package of hot Ralston cereal.
Hey, quit talking so much. Let's go to the Weatherbird shoe store. There's not much time left to enter the contest, and we got to make sure the Blue Demons win that rocket clubhouse.
Okay, I'm coming.
Gang, get your pals together. See your Weatherbird shoe dealer and get lots of swell space coins and contest entry blanks absolutely free. You don't have to buy a thing, but hurry. Time's getting short. Get going on the Name the Planet contest today at your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure under the sea of Planet X. For the past 2 days, Space Patrol ships and some commercial ships have picked up a strange spaceophone signal. It registers for a few seconds and then disappears. Right now, in Commander Corey's central office on the man-made planet Terra, Buzz and Happy sit before a sensitive receiver as the cryptic signal streams in from across the vastness of space.
What is it, sir?
It's a code signal. It's been picked up repeatedly from Planet X.
Planet X?
Notice the pattern. It's a constant repetition of 3 dashes.
A homing signal for Baccarati's scout ship.
That's what Major Robertson thought at first. But it comes from a point in the great sea of Planet X, far away from any of Baccarati's known installations.
On an island, then?
Very likely. Somebody's in distress on Planet X. Let's get to our ship, Happy.
Meantime, in the tower room of his castle on Planet X, Prince Baccarati reclines casually on his ornate throne, gazing admiringly at a flashing jeweled medallion. His chief counselor, Dr. Malengro, is patiently waiting to be recognized while the haughty prince fondles a cluster of jewels.
Beautiful. Exquisite. Well, Malengro, what is it?
A report from the detachment of guards, Your Highness. They're on the trail of the escaped slaves.
Oh, indeed. Have they been recaptured?
Not yet, sire. But the guard captain thinks the natives are attempting to return to their home region in Crater Canyon.
Yes, all right. Malengro, what do you think of this medallion?
Excellency, this is magnificent. Where did you get it?
A guard took it from one of the slaves, the one that was recaptured just after the escape.
Amazing. A native with this?
With jewels like this, I can I can hire more agents, hundreds of them.
Of course, it can solve all Your Excellency's financial problems.
Let's go down to the dungeon and talk to him. It's in the next cell, Malengo.
Big fellow, isn't he?
Yeah. We'll leave the door locked in case he becomes violent.
I would suggest you mind the fellow. Perhaps you would talk with him.
Well, you talk to him then.
Very well, sire. Tamu, son of Chief Ramad, His Highness Prince Baccarati is impressed by the medallion. He would like to know where you got it.
It was given to me by my father.
And where did he get it?
From his father. It is handed down by each chief to his eldest son. Generation
I don't care about that. Where did it come from originally?
From the Ancient One.
And just who are the Ancient Ones?
The givers of all knowledge. The benevolent masters of this world and the worlds beyond the sun. The exalted...
Stop prattling! Where are these Ancient Ones, whoever they are?
It is not given to me to know. For I am not a chief. Only a chief may know the secret of the Ancient One.
This young upstart is trying to make a fool of me. Blanco, summon the guard. I'll beat this precious secret out of him.
There is another way.
I want to know where these jewels came from.
Perhaps his father, the chief, will reveal the secret to get his son back safely. Besides, if this fellow is telling the truth and only his father knows where the jewels came from, maybe we can force him to reveal the secret.
Excellent. We'll take this farmer with us to prove we have him. Guard! I'm not...
A few hours later, Buzz and Happy are scanning the surface of the great sea of Planet X in their viewscopes, searching for the source of the mysterious signal. Their spaceophone receiver is adjusted to pick up the code whenever the ship crosses the directional beam from the transmitter.
Whoever calculated that fix on the signal must be way off, sir. We're right over the region where it's supposed to come from.
Well, we've got to allow for error, Happy. Remember, the fix was computed from positions millions of DUs in Planet X.
Right. There it is. It's going.
Cross the beam. We'll circle back again.
It sure must be a narrow beam if we crossed it that quick.
You get any sort of a fix on it at all?
I'll check the indicator, sir. Something's mighty strange here, Commander. The signal came from somewhere right below us on the Great Sea, but there's no island and no surface craft.
Watch your viewscope carefully, Hap.
Yes, sir. There it is. Look, there's nothing down here. And our viewscope is sensitive enough to pick up a very small boat. What do you make of it, sir?
It must be submerged. A clever idea. Lessons of chance of Baccarati's scouts ever locating it.
Yes, sir, but who's sending the signal? Where are they?
Probably they're hiding out close to the coast. We'll circle low and give them a chance to see our Space Patrol insignia.
There's a valley a few miles inland, sir. The valley and the foothills are covered with farms and orchards, even inside some of those craters.
That means people, Happy. Probably very intelligent natives. And farming people are usually peaceable.
And whoever escaped from Baccarati could be living with the natives, waiting for the Space Patrol to pick up that signal out there in the ocean.
At least the natives may know if any strangers have passed through recently. We'll head for those craters, Hap.
Meantime, Prince Baccarati has landed his atmosphere ship near the edge of a crater in the valley, some distance from a group of cliff dwellings. Fearful of the reaction of the natives, the prince has sent Dr. Malengro alone to the village to get the chief. A few moments later, Malengro returns with an old man whose regal bearing and fine spun cloth robe are evidence of his important position in the tribe. As he approaches Baccarati, the chief extends his arms to his sides, palms outward, in a gesture of friendship. Baccarati merely stands stiffly, a sneer on his face, as the old man speaks.
I am Ramad, chief of the people of the Valley of Craters. I bid you welcome.
Let's get down to business, Ramad. Ever see this before?
It belongs to my son, Tamu. He was captured by the tyrant. You have seen my son?
Yes, he's in my ship.
This is joyous news. Tell me your name, that my people may sing in praise of you.
Malenko, didn't you tell him who I am?
I thought it best to withhold that information, sire.
Very well. Ramad, I'm Prince Baccarati.
You are the tyrant?
That is a harsh word to call a gracious prince who has brought your son back to you.
I will gladly apologize when I embrace my son again.
That is easily arranged. Where did this medallion come from?
Why, from my father. was chief before me.
No more of that. You got more jewels like this. Where are they? Take me to them.
That is impossible.
Then it is impossible for me to return your son.
But, Your Highness, there are no more jewels like that among my people.
Don't lie to me, Ramed. If you got one medallion, you got more. Where are they?
In the realm of the Ancient One.
Where is that?
In their city under the sea.
What kind of a nonsense is this? You're lying, Ramed. There is no such city.
I do not lie. I know there is a city under the sea. For I have been there.
Then take me there or you'll never see your son again.
It is forbidden for anyone but a new chief of my people to descend into the city of the Ancient One.
I don't care a handful of space dust for your ridiculous customs. If you don't take me to the city for those gems, I'll bless this entire valley.
You mean you will destroy my people?
That's exactly what I mean. If you don't think...
Your Highness, look, a spaceship, Commander Corey's ship.
This Corey ship. Quick, back to our ship.
There's time coming to the land.
You're right, Malengo. Hurry. Hide before he gets close enough to see exactly what's going on down here.
But where can we hide? He'll find us.
You hide in that thick clump of bushes over there. I'll stay here in plain sight. While he's capturing me, you can get him with the paralyzer ray. Now hurry.
Yes, Your Highness.
You are afraid of this man in the spaceship. It is our liberator, just as it was foretold in the chronicles of the Ancient One. You can't harm our liberator.
I won't let you, won't I? We'll see about that. Be ready, Malengo, when Corey comes to the rescue.
It's Baccarati, all right, sir. He's beating that old man. Trying to drag him into his ship. Let's get him. All right, Baccarati, break it up. I'll get his ray gun, sir.
Let go of me, Corey.
Commander, the old man's unconscious. Baccarati knocked him out. Getting pretty brave, aren't you, Baccarati, beating up an old man all by yourself?
Get them, Malengo.
Yes, Your Highness.
Splendid, Malengo. You got both of them. This is the last time Commander Corey will meddle in the affairs of Cadet.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Hi, Mr. Weatherburn, man.
Hi, you fellas back already?
Yeah, we want some more of those swell space coins and 3 more contest entry blanks for the guys in our Blue Demons Club.
Oh, sure, you bet. Here you are. Your space coins are right there in the album, along with your contest entry blank. And they're absolutely free. You don't have to buy anything.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Weatherburn. Now the Blue Demons will have even more chances to win the Rocket Clubhouse and the $1,500. Oh, maybe we'll win a Schwinn bike for every guy in Demon.
Sure. And don't forget about the 1,000 other prizes. 1,000 pieces of official Space Patrol equipment. And you know, you can get even more of those fine space coins free in packages of hot Ralston cereal. The hot Ralston package with a picture of Commander Corey and Cadet Happy on the front.
You betcha, Mr. Weatherbird, man. We're going to get some packages of hot Ralston with the free space coins right now. Then, all of us Blue Demons are going to come back here and get going on the Name the Planet contest again. Be seeing you.
Good. But you better hurry. There's not much time left, Anders.
Right, Space Patrollers, time is running out. But you still have time to get your free space coins and contest entry blanks at your Weatherbird shoe store. So do it today. That's your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure under the sea of Planet X. Buzz and Happy blast off for Planet X to investigate a mysterious spaceophone signal that seems to come from the Great Sea. Believing the series of dashes are a distress signal from the United Planets personnel who escaped from Prince Baccarati, Buzz searches the nearby coast. Sighting Baccarati's ship in a crater valley, they land in time to stop Baccarati from beating Ramed, chief of a tribe of peaceful natives. But Buzz and Happy are in turn overpowered by Dr. Malengro, who has been lurking in ambush nearby, armed with a paralyzer ray gun. Helpless from the effects of the blast, the space patrolmen look on as Baccarati and Malengro revive the native chief.
He's coming around all right, Your Highness.
Oh, get him to his feet. Come on, Ramed, get up.
Those men lying there. What have you done to them?
Temporarily paralyzed with this ray gun. This, Ramed, is one of the least powerful of my weapons. Remember that, in case your people will try to rescue you.
Who are these men? From another planet, too, I suppose?
Yes. This is the great Commander Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol of the United Planets. My most formidable enemy. And look at him now.
If he is your enemy, he must be good.
A liberator who came from another world to save us from a tyrant, just as the Ancient Ones foretold.
There's your liberator. Your Ancient Ones are either bad prophets, or they were thinking of someone else. Malengo, put Corey and the cadet into my ship and tie them up.
Yes, Excellency. Shall we put them in with Tamu?
Nah, there isn't enough room in that compartment. Put them in the first compartment on the left and lock them up.
Yes, Your Highness.
Leaving Buzz and Happy securely bound and locked in Baccarati's ship, the Prince and Malengo followed Chief Ramed around the rims of the craters and across the valley to a steep bluff. Finally, Ramed pauses before a jutting rock formation.
We are at the entrance to the tunnel.
Where? I don't see it.
Slip in behind that large rock.
You go first. You're next, Malengo.
Yes, Your Highness.
There isn't much light in here, Malengo. Have your Atamo light?
Yes, Excellency. Here.
Why, this is no tunnel. It's just a cave. It ends a few yards back. What are you trying to do, Ramed?
The back wall is a concealed gate. I will open it. There's a hidden lever in this recess. Highness, it's amazing. It must take tremendous power to open that gate. It is a secret force of the Ancient One.
Probably only electricity. See, the tunnel is lighted.
Yes. You will no longer need your little lights. Ramed, just who were these Ancient Ones? A race of wise men and women who lived on this world thousands of years ago. Why did they live under the sea? Their science told them that this world would be struck with a storm of giant stones from the sky. Meteors. That's what caused the craters. Yes. So they built a new city to the east in another deep valley and covered the city with a dome. Then they leveled a huge mountain, and the sea rushed in and covered the city. The deep water protected them from the meteors. Yes. What became of these people, these Ancient Ones? When the great rain of stones was over and the air was cooled, the Ancient Ones found that the world was not the beautiful one it once was. The air was foul to their sensitive lungs. So they built great ships and fled into space to seek another world.
Well, it's fortunate they aren't here now to interfere with my plans. Let's get started down this tunnel. Must be a tremendous distance to the sea.
It is a great distance, but you will be there very soon. Stand here if you will. That's it. When I press a lever, the very floor of the tunnel will move and carry you down to the city under the sea.
Conveyor belt, a moving platform.
Amazing. I suggest that you lay down. The floor moves swiftly.
All right, hurry up. Let's get started. Come on, Ramed. Get on, we're ready.
I'm not going with you.
Ramed, get on the platform, do you hear me?
Farewell, evil one. You will go alone to the city under the sea.
Stop this platform. Stop it, I say.
May the Ancient Ones forgive me for defiling their beautiful city. I will close the gate and return to my people.
Elsewhere, in a compartment of Baccarati's ship, Buzz and Happy, recovered from the effects of the paralyzer ray, are struggling vainly to free their tightly bound hands and feet.
Boy, Malengo really did a job on us this time. Commander, somebody's at the door. Baccarati must be back.
I returned as quickly as I could, Commander Corey. I am Ramed, chief of the people of the Valley of Craters.
Believe me, Ramed, we're certainly glad to see you.
I'll say we are.
If you will permit me, I shall release your bond.
Thanks. What happened to Baccarati and Malengo?
They're in the city under the sea. The moving platform should have carried them there by now.
Nothing rocket. You mean there actually is a city under the sea?
Yes. Built hundreds of generations ago by the Ancient Ones.
And people live in it?
No. Not since the Ancient Ones left this world in spaceships similar to your own. Perhaps you are a descendant of the Ancient Ones, returned to free my people from this tyrant Baccarati. It was foretold by the Ancient Ones.
No, I'm afraid not. We've been after Baccarati for a long time. We came here because of a signal we received from space.
From the Ancient One.
No, from what we call a spaceophone. We first picked up the signal 3 days ago.
3 days ago, you say? That was the day my son disappeared. He was captured by Baccarati's men. That was the day I went to the tunnel and pressed another secret lever.
Another lever?
When the Ancient Ones left this world, they told those left behind of a tyrant who would someday come to enslave them. They told us of a secret lever that would summon a liberator from out of space.
Smoking rockets, they set that equipment hundreds of years ago, and it works now?
More than hundreds, I think. Thousands. So, Ronald, you sent that signal when Baccarati captured your son.
And 20 other of my people. But my son is here in this ship.
Why didn't you tell us before?
It is not our way to needlessly impose our affairs on strangers.
Well, gee, let's get him out of here. If he's okay, I'll bet he wants to help us go after Baccarati.
No, my friend. He must not enter the city until it is his time to succeed me as chief.
All right, Ronald. We'll probably need you to show us around. After we get your son out of here, we'll go to my ship and get some weapons. Then tackle Baccarati. With ever-increasing speed, the moving platform carries the terrified Baccarati and Malengro down through the tunnel, mile after mile, until they are under the sea. Then the platform slows down and finally comes to a stop. Dazedly, Baccarati and Malengro get to their feet and look in amazement at a city of dazzling beauty, bathed in soft lights of many colors. High above them, a transparent dome holds back the dark blue waters of the great sea.
Look at these buildings. They're studded with jewels. There are even jewels in the streets. I'm rich. I'm richer than anyone in the universe. Let's chip off as many of these jewels as we can. Use the butt of your razor.
As Baccarati and Malengro wander through the streets of the undersea city, roughly chipping away the largest gems from building walls and streets, Buzz, Happy, and Chief Ahmed descend through the long tunnel. Then, cautiously, as the moving platform stops, they enter the city. Listen. Did they?
Yeah. What is it?
I don't know. Let's find out. Baccarati and Malengro, chipping gems from the walls. Ready, Hap?
Yes.
Let's rush him. Come on.
Hurry! Malengro, get them!
All right, Baccarati. You going to call it quits, or do you want to go back up that tunnel unconscious?
You win.
Get the weapons, Hap.
And those gems. They must not take the jewels from the city.
Yes, drop them, both of you. You won't be needing them.
Smoking rockets. Baccarati's got an emerald as big as a hen's egg.
I will relieve you of that emerald.
Ahmed.
Thanks, Ahmed, you old fool. There's your emerald.
Commander, Baccarati's got his blast gun.
Yes, and I'm going to use it.
Don't try it. If you break that dome, you'll have the whole ocean in on us.
Then stay right where you are. Come on, Malengro. Follow me.
Yes, Your Highness. After them, Happy. Can't escape it. They may find some weapon they can use against us.
We just ducked around that corner, Commander.
We're gaining on them.
There they are. They're heading for that metal door.
Stop, Baccarati.
Let's see you get in here, Corey.
Oh, doggone it. If we'd just been a second sooner. They've locked themselves in this chamber. Well, all we've got to do is just wait for them to come out. They can't stay in there forever.
I know, huh? I don't like the looks of this.
Yeah, but there's no other door. It's just a metal chamber.
Yeah, but look, it's a column extending clear up to the dome.
I wonder what it's for. Hey, what's happening?
Look up at the top of the dome.
Something shooting up to the surface. A big torpedo or something.
See if you can open that door now, Hap.
The chamber's empty. They're gone.
This is an emergency escape hatch. Baccarati and Malengro shot to the surface inside of a watertight chamber.
Wow, they sure took an awful chance.
It may have been ejected automatically.
Commander.
They got away, Ahmed. I'm sorry.
It was my fault. But I am very grateful. You saved the lives of my son and all my people. I will order a feast in your honor.
Thanks, Ahmed, but some other time.
But Baccarati cannot harm my people now.
Probably not. We'll go back to our spaceship and search the great sea till we find him.
I know our great danger is over. Baccarati will leave us alone now, I know it. Because I've got my son's jeweled medallion back. Baccarati dropped it in the fight. It is a sign of good fortune.
Well, maybe, Ramid, but just the same. Don't forget where that spaceophone signal switch is.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Look for the sign of the Weatherbird Space Patrollers. Look for the sign of the Weatherbird at your Weatherbird shoe store, because that's where you get your free Name the Planet contest entry blank and those swell space coins. And remember, you can also get space coins in packages of good hot Ralston, instant or regular, but hurry. Time's getting short. There's still time to get going on the Name the Planet contest at your Weatherbird shoe store. That's your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Hattie are trying to drive off one of Prince Baccarati's atmosphere ships before it destroys a small submarine in the great sea of Planet X.
We're driving him off, Hap. Yes, sir. He's cut on all rockets, but what happened to the sub?
We'll take care of it later. We've chased that atmosphere ship away. Commander, they're firing at us. They want to play rough. You'll cooperate. Stand by to fire space torpedoes. We're hit! He's knocked out our starboard rockets. We're out of control. Commander, we're going to crash!
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Sea Monster of Planet X, when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovach, Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Stephen Robertson, Dick Beals, and Tom McKee. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles, reporting on the famous jet plane assigned to the vital Air Force mission of defending America's homeland, Lockheed's F-94C Starfire. In a moment, we'll hear from Tony LaVere, the well-known record-breaking test pilot on the Starfire. Within seconds after warning, this radar-controlled interceptor can be off the ground and streaking to 45,000 feet or higher. Packing 48 rockets, it can fly and fight in sunshine or darkness at speeds of more than 600 miles per hour. Now, Tony LaVere, tape recorded this morning at a California air base.
You know, good health is important to a test pilot, and I have to stay in top condition. I get lots of rest and eat plenty of good food. That's why I like a good cereal for breakfast, like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They have real energy and they taste swell. Why don't you try them?
No other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from Tony LaVere, Joe Lynch, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And now, attention all Space Patrollers. Now you can have the big, complete catalog of exciting new Space Patrol toys and official Space Patrol equipment. It's yours absolutely free. Just mail a postcard to Space Products, Box 591, Hollywood, California. That's Space Products, Box 591, Hollywood, California. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.